News every 20 minutes on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
Bojorquez, the lefty, puts a foot into it. It's a high spiraling kick. A good one. Moore backs up, takes it on the 18-yard line, waits for a block, gets forward. He's loose. He's at the 40. He's at midfield. He stiff arms Bojorquez down the sideline 30. He's being chased, and Moore is tackled at the 15 of the Browns. They give to McCaffrey. He runs up the middle, and he's in. Touchdown for the 49ers. Sanders now on 2nd and 9. Shotgun has the ball up in the pocket. Sanders throwing deep. Bannon at the 10. Bannon at the 5. Harold Bannon has a touchdown! Touchdown, Browns! Quinchon has the snap. Running right. Quinchon push and push and push. He is in! That is a 2-point conversion. They give to McCaffrey. No, Purdy's going to run! And he takes it into the end zone. He pulled it from McCaffrey and ran for the score over the left side. Myles Garrett sitting on 18 sacks is lining up at right end across from the future Hall of Famer, fellow future Hall of Famer Trent Williams. 3rd and 4 from the 41. Purdy, shotgun. Here comes Myles. He got him! Sack 19! Morstead has it. He gets it away from his 40. High up into the air. And it's a fair catch. And it's out. Niners have it. Gage Larvidan lost it, muffed it. Niners have it on the Browns' 17-yard line. Purdy to throw. Purdy throwing over the middle. Caught. Touchdown Jennings. 26-8. A disappointing end to Thanksgiving weekend here for the Browns.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Audio courtesy of the UH Browns Radio Network. Well. Super Bowl, Super Browns.
Ken, we were in the hunt.
Yeah.
We were in the hunt. Thursday night, they put up the graphic. We were in the hunt.
Guys, I'm fighting it.
It's fun while it lasted.
I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it. The accountability thing plays in, and then I go, they're 3-9 now. What's it going to do? I mean, what's the bloodlust really going to do? Like, I'm fighting it right now. I usually I know what I want to say after these things. I'm fighting like I told you. There comes a time where I'm not going to sit there, and I don't want to turn into one of these old radio guys who just dump on everything and become cynical about everything, and then anything good happens, I'm not even going to pretend to enjoy it because all I do is live in my own misery. I don't know how you go through. I don't know if you go through this. This is just what I go through emotionally any time these losses happen. But at the same time, I also don't want to turn into somebody who becomes apathetic towards this and just stands by and just whatever, it happens, because again, I think that having a pro football team is a special thing. Having pro sports is a special thing, and people deserve to have their pro sports and deserve to have a team that they like. And this is just not likable right now. It is the blind leading the blind. And everything has an explanation or an excuse of something that's just, it's like the best way I drive it in to describe it, to put it in any terms of business. The results aren't there, and we keep finding these ways to say it's better than what we think it is, and it's not. You're 3-9. I don't know what to do. Do we know about the UCLA job yet? Because that might be a conversation we have to have later on today or tomorrow. We'll see how that one goes. I'm fighting it. I found myself more angry at you last night than I did anything else, and I said, that's a problem. That's a real problem, because I felt that you didn't even care, and I saw your tweets, and I don't want to get in a fight with you over this, okay? They lost. You didn't lose. But I saw your tweets. I go, he's just trolling everybody. And everybody's tweeting me, go, come get your boy. And I go, he's clearly had a few drinks, and now he's just bothering all you guys, and you're allowing it to happen, and now I'm just mad at him because I have to answer for this. And I go, he's bored. You guys are bored. Why the hell should I care? And we're just saying things that aren't even realistic. We're saying things that aren't realistic. And so we'll do 4 hours of surreal stuff, and then we'll just march on and get ready for the next one. And the next one, they could actually win because it's Tennessee. I don't know if they will. It seems that everybody on their defense got hurt yesterday, but I'm sure we'll talk ourselves. I will talk myself into it, not us. I will talk myself into it by the time Wednesday comes around. And there we are. So there's plenty to get into. But now I'm at the point, see, we've reached this point where if I say, if you let go of anybody, what's it going to save? Well, then I'm making excuses for inept coaching. If I say, get rid of everybody, then what's that going to do as far as fixing any of this? Because you're 3-9. It's over. The season is done. The only thing that I'm trying to do is evaluate whether or not you got a quarterback, whether or not you got several other positions. Jerry Jeudy and his next meltdown, which seems like it's coming any moment. Like, all that stuff is still there. But as far as like, well, we got to get rid of this guy or cut that guy to save the season, there ain't nothing to save. There ain't nothing to save. And the whole conversation, well, if we would have started Shedeur sooner, I don't think that's realistic. So now I'm just stuck handcuffed in this spot where you're 3-9. We're getting ready for the March. I got the envelope. I got the list right here. I'm just getting ready for it to all happen.
Yeah, it's
because
funny.
There's just nothing more that you can do about this.
And just kind of scanning some of the opinions nationally, they're just assuming your head coach is getting fired at some point. That's like just the assumption. And then there's a lot of questions about Andrew Berry, whether or not they'd be tethered in that scenario. But I don't see a lot of people that think Stefanski is going to live through this. A lot of people just don't even think he wants Shedeur Sanders to begin with. That, he doesn't feel like that there's clearly no. I mean, they basically yesterday only let Shedeur throw screen passes.
Well, what I don't understand is this: is you can't. I mean, we'll turn it. I'm sure it always goes to a Shedeur discussion because he's the only guy we have to really look forward to anything to. So sorry, guys. Like, I know that Carson Schwarzenegger's good and a couple other guys are good. But if they haven't proven it to you, if you don't even at least have decent quarterback play like we don't, we're dead in the water. We're just dead in the water. He didn't get enough practice, so you were nervous about him going in. They've seemed to try to take care of him the first couple of weeks. Now we're mad because we didn't let him throw the ball all over the yard yesterday. Guys, you got to pick a road. That's not the same thing. That's completely diametrically opposed to what you said last week. We got to remain honest about this because when you turn them loose, and you could say, guys, by the way, the out's right there. Your wide receivers are terrible. Your wide receivers are garbage. So you could look around and say, well, he's looking around, he can't find nobody. Hey, fair point. His wide receivers in the Big 12 were better than what he has in the pros. Maybe even his college wide receivers, apparently. And I'm not just talking about Travis Hunter, for crying out loud. So there is a reason, an actual reason to it. But you see when he puts everything, and I think he got caught in this moment, and maybe you feel differently. He's trying to throw a touchdown on every pass. And I know I've said that about other quarterbacks on this football team before, which sucks because now I just have to keep repeating myself because history repeats itself. But you saw that, like, they were sitting there, and I'm listening to Nathan and Andrew, and Nathan's like, we gotta pass. You're down 2 scores. You gotta pass. And I'm like, yeah, you gotta pass. But now he's just trying to throw a touchdown on every single one because these guys aren't open. He's not seeing the whole field. There's not a lot of experience there. And if you keep everything in front of you, you can conduct an offense. But if you have to come back from behind, you're going to put each other in a bad spot. And that's what they did. Everybody put each other in a bad spot. Well, excuse me. I don't think the defense put anybody in the bad spot. Special teams is as bad as I've ever seen. You have actual football coaches going, what are the lanes here? Coach Lance, what are these lanes that they're in? This is not what you coach. So I don't know what the hell Bubba Ventrone's doing here, except he has a nickname that people seem to like. Other than that, I don't think it's going to fix anything. Even by firing the guy, what's it going to fix? Other than it's going to make you feel a little bit better. See, that's where I'm stuck at.
Oh, they missed.
You've reached the point past accountability,
They've
Tone.
had this like the 3rd or 4th game special teams just cost them.
You're right.
They missed that.
You are right.
We had the accountability discussion, and all I heard from so many people was, well, what does it do? What does it do? What does it do? What does it do?
It could have done something back there. It can't do anything now.
Like
you
I said,
were right.
This is the team that never benches, cuts, or fires anybody.
You were right.
That has any direct impact on games, and so nobody takes it seriously. And so now we're to the point where the only thing I could think of was that ownership would call down to either the GM or the coach and say, are you getting rid of this guy or not? because that was humiliating. That was the special teams plays that you're just not seeing around the league. Like, yeah, you see muff punts, but guys that don't know whether they're supposed to have the foot planted out of bounds or not seems to be a pretty textbook thing. We had a former defensive coordinator that was on it when it came to that.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought. Like, Jimmy Haslam has seen that play. And at least, what did you think? Did you think he was kind of fumbling in his mind?
Which one? Giving up punt returns to Sky Moore, the one at the 5-yard line? Are you talking about? Because you could take your pick of bad special teams, and you could take your pick of bad special teams all throughout the game. So what, you want to go through what was in his? I think it looked like he lost track of where the hell he was.
Well, on the radio,
did he think he had Nathan, 5 more feet to work with on the sideline?
Nathan was breaking it down that these guys are taught to have one foot out there, and he kind of got caught in the middle, like, oh, shoot, I was supposed to have my foot out, because then we would have gotten great field position, and instead we have the worst field position. And that was the one thing you can't have in that game, is really bad field position, because that just blows up an entire game in your face. So you saw the average starting field position for the two teams was totally opposite. So it was one team that was on top of special teams and the other that completely was not.
Yeah. Which then goes flies right in my face, where I got emotional about it. And when it comes to the 4th down, I wanted to go for the 4th down, but at the same time, like, your guys aren't even lined up. So you got guys who aren't even lined up. You had Harold Fan in there. Okay, you've done things with tight ends before. Other teams do things with other players taking snaps before.
Well, Fannin is involved in a lot of their short yardage stuff.
You're right, but they don't have anybody lined up, and you continue to run the play anyway. It becomes a cavalcade of errors. Then you give them the ball, and I'm thinking, well, if it is that much of a field goal, if it's a field goal, if it's a field position type of game, then did you not call the timeout because you didn't want to talk yourself out of going for it on 4th down? Is that it? Because there's no rules here. You could always call the timeout and then just go for it on 4th down. If you wouldn't have made it, it would have made it bad. But you know what? Still fumbling the snap and then giving them the ball at your 23-yard line wasn't going to be much better anyway. It was a 10-8 football game. You could have punted it out of there. It took them 9 plays to get into the end zone after that. It is fair to say you possibly would have stopped them and been able to force another punt instead of putting your defense back there at the 20. And then later on, when you're muffing punts and when you're catching the ball at the 5-yard line and stepping out of bounds, like, Tone, let me say this again. You should do Champions Pose. You were right. See, this is the issue that I'm saying, and you crystallize it best, is that if you would have had accountability back there, like when November came around, you might have been able to, quote unquote, save something here. Now it's past the point of saving. So what good does it do to now have that accountability with 5 games left in the season? Just to make me feel better? Because I don't think it's going to make any bit of a difference on the field. Is it going to make is it just going to make, like, you'll feel good about it on Monday if they were to go, hey, Bubba Ventrone's been let go. And then by Wednesday, you're going, what are we going to do against Tennessee? Like, it's not going to do anything. So you were right. You were so correct. And that's my problem. If I just say, what's it matter? Well, then, guys, you just don't care. No, I do care. I care way more than I probably should. And I think you do the same in so many ways. But, God, you were so right. If you just hold people accountable in October and November, you don't have this malaise that I feel on December 1st where I'm going, yeah, fire him. What are you going to do? Okay, Bubba Ventrone's gone. Is that going to solve your issues with your offense? Is that going to solve the other issues you have with your special teams? Is all of a sudden Gage Larvidan not going to fumble the ball? Which I felt bad. He obviously felt terrible about it. So I didn't want to beat him up too much about it. It's just this whole thing that mixes in, and you're 3-9. And the worst part about it is that, guys, you look around the division and go, you know what? Nathan was right during the broadcast. If you played somewhat decent special teams, you might be right there in the thick of the AFC North right now. Yeah,
all-time bad division that could have been up for grabs for anybody. In fact, Cincinnati's only 2 games back. How incredible is that?
They're 4-8?
This is just as bad as this. This was a dream come true. If I would have told you coming into the season that this was Pittsburgh's situation, this is Baltimore's situation, and this was the Bengals, and here they are completely out of it. No chance. We're the only injection of energy at all was, hey, let's see what Orr has. But if the weather is going to be like this, and it seems like we have the worst weather games in the NFL for other than Buffalo for like the 10th straight year, which probably has something to do with them getting a dome. because that wasn't exactly exciting, awesome, entertaining football yesterday, and very few of their games are. They drag other teams into the muck. They drag otherwise entertaining teams into really unwatchable football where it was a field position turnover game, and that was it. That was it. And then the 4th and 1, the only thing I guess I would ask is, I joked on Twitter that did Josina talk them into having to have Shedeur on the field? Because the whole point of the Wildcat with Judkins is that you have everybody blocking for one guy. In this case, Shedeur is out there, doesn't have to be accounted for when they see Fannin go under center. Well, and the other thing is, that's the thing when you don't have a veteran quarterback. Last week, if you remember during the Pittsburgh Steelers game, Aaron Rodgers, when he was on the bench,
I thought you were referencing something
he had mouthed, that's an illegal formation. He could see that the Steelers had lined up wrong, and he mouthed illegal formation, and then the officials called it. In this case, you had Wyatt Teller, running onto the field late, 10 seconds left. That's just an automatic timeout. I think a veteran quarterback or a good head coach that is on it is that's timeout. I know we don't like to use second half timeouts, but that's the game. You're giving the team the ball at the 35-yard line. That's timeout. We're not rushing this play. We've practiced it all week. I imagine they practiced that short yardage play at least 5 times, right? Is that when you do your special short yardage stuff? Are they doing that 5-10 times? So
I don't know how they block.
So a veteran quarterback or a coach that's on it is no, we don't have the right personnel. We're not messing with this. This is the game. And they didn't. He fumbled it. It didn't matter anyway. They were never getting the play. I was hoping they would look back and say, we didn't get the playoff. 5-yard penalty, now we're forced to punt. Because that would have been the best option of all, outcome of all.
Well, then you still don't have your... Because I would like to say, well, then you still don't have your guys ready, which is still a failure on coaching. It was still a failure on coaching. I mean, punting it out of there and then playing defense and maybe still getting the ball back at 10-8 would have been better than what happened. So you might have had to admit something there at the end, but if you would have won the game, it would have been a little bit easier on you because you were in a position where you could have won the game. Then you were in a position you could not win the game because you left it to special teams, and special teams let you down, and then you had to put a quarterback who's just not ready for that spot yet. Sorry, guys. He's not ready for that yet. You had to put him in a position where he had to try to throw a touchdown on every pass. He felt that way. 216-474-0092. All right, I'm going to get to you guys on this. I'm fighting it. I'm really, really fighting the malaise. Because, if I'm that mad about fighting the malaise, then maybe I don't have the malaise yet. Maybe that I should look at it as a positive thing. Is a reality starting to set in about a certain somebody else, too? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app.
It's Anthony Lima for Floors with a Z, and...
would be in a significantly different position this season if special teams were just average. I'm not asking for exceptional. I'm saying just average. The fact is, this special teams unit has been such a blemish. It's been an anchor, an albatross around the neck of the Cleveland Browns. Huge play after huge play. That's 3 of them in this game. 3 huge plays. Give up a big punt return. You step out of bounds. That's a 34-yard. I'm pretty sure the punt return, he said, was 66. That's 100 yards that you gave up on those 2 plays, and now you just fumble a punt here. Special teams just been absolutely dreadful, and something's got to change there. Something has got to change with the way that the Browns are going about business on special teams, because it is undermining what has been a championship defense this season.
It's already too late. Whatever.
Yeah, in that league,
I love you, Nathan. It's already too late.
In that league, the thing that changes...
Heads out of the barn, cats out of the bag,
We all
whatever.
watch the NFL. We all follow it, especially if you're listening to this radio show or joining us on YouTube Live. Hello, everybody. You fire the coach. That happens in 100% of these instances where it's so glaringly obvious that the special teams is a deficiency. And he's right. Nathan's right. A championship defense. A championship defense is left to fend for themselves because special teams, which in most cases they're supposed to be seen and not heard, right? Like, yeah, it's great when you have a good return. It's great when you block your 1 punt of the year, or once every 2 years you block a punt and you're like, yay. But of course, 8 other times you rough the punter. And so you're like, well, don't ever go after the punts. Like, seen and not heard. Special teams. And in the Browns' case, they have been seen and heard, and it is abysmal. They're one of the worst units, if not the worst, in the NFL. Those coaches get fired 100% of the time. What are you doing today, Browns? What are you doing? And you're
again,
right. At this point, what's the point?
Yeah, if they decide to let him go today, I'll go, okay.
We're not going to come in and cheer tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're not going to do
our
that.
national nightmare is over. No, you're still 3-9.
Should we do Super Bowl? We should ask the question right now. Should we do it if they fire Bubba Ventrone today? Should we come in tomorrow and do? Would that make you feel better?
I'll do it, but I'll do it in a sarcastic tone.
Yes.
Tone.
Well, Kenny, they're all sarcastic from here on out, right?
Sometimes you mean it.
They beat Tennessee. They're 4-point favorites this week. If you beat Tennessee, who's I don't know, is it going to be another tank-off game like the Raiders game?
Who knows? Whatever. 216-474-0092. Like it's a slog. It's officially December in Berea. At least you got that.
This is when coaches in the old days used to get the axe.
Stars at Cleveland Cliffs. Yeah. Got that. Jacob, hey, can you give us our social media reactions there, Owen?
It's brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Thank you, friend. Hey, Ken Carman, do you honestly think Kevin is the guy going forward, or are you just hiding it because he's a good guy? Because I'm sorry, he isn't even qualified right now for the Ole Miss job. What is there to hide? What am I hiding? They're 6-23 over the last couple of years.
I think they want you to be louder.
I lost my voice last week.
No, but they want you to be loud to fire the coach. They want you to be loud that Stefanski has to go. Let everybody know it.
And then when
You're
they don't, they don't, what do I do?
You got to get louder the next week.
Oh, I'll get louder the next week.
The next week's even more indignant.
I'm not going to do the pony. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do Andrew Filipponi. Go to pony. Go to pony to hear silly stuff. I'm not going to do it. I'm not lowering my standard just because the Browns are bad. It goes without saying. I'm not going to make any crazy decision. I ain't going to do it. You can call in all you want, and you'll notice, am I going to disagree? How can I disagree? They're 6-23. How can I disagree with you? They're 6-23. And either Kevin didn't decide the head coach or didn't decide the quarterback. Yeah, coach a football team. You're the two-time coach of the year. They're 6-23. You're powerless?
Kenny does have an envelope.
You're powerless? I got a list right here.
He sealed it.
I'm waiting to open it. Because that's what I'm getting ready for. At least in college football, it's fun. They're cussing out Lane Kiffin at the airport yesterday. We won't do that here. And then, you know what's the worst thing is? Because I try to learn other lessons. Like I sit there, like Sean Marash over at FAN. I'm going to get the phones here in a second. Let me just say this. I try to look at other lessons and go, I ain't going to do that. Because we've done that before. They'll hire another coach. I'm telling you right now, unless it's certain people, I am not going to stand in here and have a parade over that guy because I just think it's stupid. The Giants, they've had, 6 coaches in 10 years? If you include the interims? They've had, and every single time they do it, I see the guys at FM. Yes, Joe Judge is really different. Ben McAdoo, watch out for that guy. Oh, Brian Daboll's tough as he. And then by a year and a half in, they're sick and tired of the guy. I can't do it. No, looking for coaches sucks. But at the same time, guys, you're 6-23. So if you called in and said it, how do I fight you? I can't. It sucks. The whole thing sucks. The special team sucks. The offense is terrible. The situation is bad. Merry Christmas. Well, there's nothing else you can do because the time for change, as Anthony had said, was probably back then. And now you just got to let this thing ride out and just be madder and madder as the weeks go on until you just don't care anymore. That's what you got going for you. I can be mad that they're putting a quarterback in a bad spot, although I don't really think they're putting the quarterback in a bad spot, other than he's not with a good football team. But who made that decision? 216-474-0092. Tony in Mansfield. Hello.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hi.
Yeah. So as far as like organizational accountability, like Tone said, Bubba should have been fired, right? And then even with Kevin Stefanski, with just the situation, and we're not talking about putting Shedeur or Dylan in a bad situation, but just Shedeur is by far a better quarterback than Dylan Gabriel and brings something to the offense, right? So I think there needs to be repercussions just for that alone. But if we look at our organization, I mean, as far as the team goes, it's I don't know if you want to call it the trickle effect from the Deshaun Watson situation, but our team is so bad, and that's why our special teams is so bad, is because such a lack of talent, right? And I mean, if you look at our
is it? I mean, honestly, Tony, I'm not going to try to fight you on it yet. I don't know. And do I really want to go looking through the numbers to zing you? You know, I thought that before. Like, it is, I wanted to think a lack of talent. Stay with me for a second. I wanted to think a lack of talent myself, and I go, wait a minute, these guys, like, Gage Larvidan, okay, is he a starter in this league? No. But the guy's been with this organization all year. Okay, Malachi Corley's been with this organization, what now, 2 times here over this last year? All right, you put them in bad spots. Like, who's the guy, by the way, who's making plays in your special teams? It's Grant Delpit. Grant Delpit makes plays in your special teams because you would need him because you have a lack of talent. So to that line, you're right, Tony. It's like, how can I not get guys to pay attention? I'm probably coaching it wrong. And the only thing I could say is Chris Tabor isn't walking through that door.
Exactly. And I completely agree with you. And then when you look at our offense, it is what it is, right? And nothing like I would like to see, again, just for my, I guess, as a fan, just for organizational accountability, like I said, with firing Bubba Ventrone. But our team is so bad with talent, right, and focus. I mean, our offensive line is terrible. I mean, we had to sign Conklin. But, I mean, look at him and his injuries, and just our offensive line across the board is terrible. I think Cedric Tillman is really showing who he is, which is very underwhelming. He is so slow.
Of course.
He is so slow, can't get out of breaks. Jerry Jeudy is considered our number one. So it's like if we talk about the organization, we are just so underwhelmed as far as talent goes. And it's what do you expect of Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders? It's like you're putting them in a situation, it is what it is, but nothing we can do in these next 2 years will fix this organization as far as the talent that we have. It's just beyond frustrating because you watch this team and they just kick themselves in the ass time after time after time. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, again, because think about it. Like, Tony, I didn't want to get mad at you over it. There's no point in me getting mad at you over a team that's pulling us apart here. And thank you very much for the call. I hope your trip in or wherever you're going is safe because the roads are terrible out there this morning. But you look at the offensive line. I thought that when they ran the ball 8 times and then let him throw it on the 9th time and they scored a touchdown, I thought it was great because you got new offensive linemen having to go in there. I got Tevin Jenkins having to rotate with Wyatt Teller. I have KT Levison playing over at right tackle there. So I got either guys who are rusty or not that good playing across my offensive line. I want Shedeur Sanders to drop back. That's why I want my guy who we've been on the record about has only had a handful of practices now. I want him having to drop back and look and trying to throw touchdowns on every pass. So again, one hand washes the other here. So this is why Andrew Berry, I can point blame on a Monday at the head coach, and I can point blame at the coaching staff, but when I look at some of the players, by the time Tuesday comes around, I got to go, what are you doing here? What are you doing with this? Yeah, I know you had to bring back Jack Conklin. Jack Conklin's in his final 5 games, it seems, with the Cleveland Browns. My offensive line is either old or rickety or bad, depending on who goes in, and I have to have a rookie, a 5th-round pick, have to go in there, a guy who has not had any practice basically at all this year, have to go back there and understand that. What was his big problem at Colorado? Holding on to the ball too long, taking sacks. Yesterday, he took 2 really bad sacks in that football game. So I got KT Levinson supposed to block for this fella. And who's his wide receivers? I got Cedric Tillman, not very good. Who else do I have? I got Harold Fannin and David Njoku, who are one's got a lot of promise, the other one's pretty good. And I got Jerry Jeudy, who we talk more about him bitching than we do about him actually catching the football. Well, who picked them guys? Who traded for them guys? There ain't enough time in the day to throw around blame for everybody. Damn, Sam, you're killing my ass. Daryl 820. By the way, did you agree with what he said about Shedeur over Gabriel? Did you hear Tony?
Yeah.
Did you agree with what he said about Shedeur over Gabriel?
What, that he's
far better?
I don't see a huge difference.
I knew it. That's the tease.
I think he's better, but I don't see a huge difference.
Tone Master General live on the Fan.
Anthony Lima for Van Scoy Hair. If you really want.
after another, again and again.
Larvadan sounds like something you take to cure heartburn, not cause it.
The fact that you're losing a game because of your special teams is outrageous. It's outrageous, and this guy is still on the sideline. Why? We lost to the Jets because of it. Like, this is absurd. Get rid of this guy.
First two were funny. I felt bad for the last guy. That was on the coming in hotline, 92.3 The Fan on the free Odyssey app. You got to favorite the station, and then right next to it is a microphone next to the Listen Live button. You hit that, get it within 30 seconds. We'll put you on the air that way. It's a fast track on the air if you're that entertaining and that good.
That was another game. I said this with the Miami game that was not a fun game to attend weather-wise, but they did win. If you went to that game yesterday, I do think we've got to stop going. I've been a season ticket holder for 30 years. I've been in the Muni lot, 1,000 times. I think you need to just cite the games and the dates that you've been to, because that was a game. I mean, you looked out. Every media person was taking pictures before kickoff and said, "I've never seen this place this empty like this." I think you need to be able to just cite, I was at that 49ers game. And it didn't end up like the wind, it was gusting, but didn't end up being the snow and the rain, that wintry mix that the forecasters were thinking 3 days, so the forecast changed a little bit. But kudos to the people that actually went to that game yesterday.
I knew a lot of people went to the game. What's to say about me and my friends?
Gluttons for punishment, right?
Apparently. Well, gluttons in some way, but gluttons for punishment in others. The last guy, the first two were really funny and correct. The last guy we played there, he was desperately mad. He was also right. He makes you more right about what you said, because I loved how you said, like, special teams should be seen and not heard. And you lose a lot of games based on special teams. I mean, field position, a shank punt here or there. There's lots of games but it's not supposed to be this obvious. It's not supposed to be so brazenly obvious every game. Every game. And I can go, they're old Mother Hubbard, you don't have a lot of talent there. And they don't. They're not a deep roster, and they're not very good as it is. But it doesn't mean these guys can't be coached. I mean, we're talking about running lanes here. We're talking about assignment football. And if I can't get them to pay attention, and I know you wanted to say something there. If we can't do assignment football, then what are you there for? What are you there? I don't need to make excuses for you. But now you've gotten to the point where, again, you were right earlier today, Tone. You've been right about a lot of stuff. There's one thing I think I'm going to disagree with you on, but you've been right about a lot of stuff. And when the time to do it was back then. Now it's not going to make me feel any better if they fire Bubba Ventrone at the end of the day. It ain't going to make me feel any better at all. The time to do it, if you were going to do it, was back earlier in the schedule, not now. Fine, 3-9. What's that going to fix, if anything? We're still fighting to get to where? Where are we fighting to get to now? Like, sometimes the struggling becomes apathy, and then that begins to take over. And the only thing I could think of is that if you really wanted to do it, and I wanted to look at this not emotionally and angry and bitterly and cynically like I have been over the last 40 minutes, is that I could look at it and say, well, okay, Kenny, you said yourself, your defense is playing against its own football team. I mean, good God, you're playing against every team you play against, and you're playing against 2/3 of your own football team. That's not fun. All right, that's one thing. Two is that I'm putting young people in a bad spot. They have to clean up for this. I ain't just talking about Shador. I'm putting young people in a bad spot to try to clean this thing up. That's another reason for it. There you go. I got 5 games left in the season. There is a responsibility I have to my team. There is something of that to be said. Okay, I'm with you. But I think by Tuesday to Wednesday, not really fist pumping because you let go of Bubba Ventrone. That ain't going to happen.
But would it at all, obviously it doesn't mean anything for this season, but is there any element of, oh, okay, they finally understand, like, there are stakes, there are consequences? Like, because at the end of the year, whatever, yeah, teams go through their firings and hirings in the offseason. Like, that doesn't make you unique or anything. I mean, they call it Black Monday, right? Every year in the NFL when there's all those firings after the final game. But if it happens now, is there a little more like, oh, there is some gravity to some of the stuff that's happening with the Browns? Like, they're not just being allowed to be this bad in consecutive years and nobody falls on the state?
I would think so, but I don't think that happens until January.
But there's
you're
no
talking about
rule.
accountability, right?
Yeah, but there's no rule that you can't fight. Like you have to play it out.
You can let go at anybody at any time you want to. I mean, this is the National Football League. People get let go for crazy reasons all the time. But I just don't think any of this is happening until January. And I think and there's some people, man, I know we haven't really talked a lot about quarterbacks today because we've been mad about, just an inept situation on fourth down and a half a yard. The special teams as well. We've been yelling about the coaching staff. I mean, we can yell about the quarterback all we want. I'll just say it. I mean, again, if you get rid of this guy at the end of this year and you're bringing in new people, I think there's a clear line between how the general fan thinks, how the Shador fan thinks, and how the NFL thinks of Shador. And I don't know if that's the best thing. Got to tell you. 216-474-0092. Speaking of, you said you didn't see too much of a difference so far?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, we're going to have to roll up our sleeves because I think I vehemently disagree with you. But that might not be on what I see as much as how I feel. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, if you're on your way to work, take us with you to work. Be careful on the way to work. The roads are terrible in Cleveland today. If you're on your way to work, be careful. Take us with you. 923thefan.com, the free Odyssey app, as well as YouTube Live. That's also absolutely, positively free. Tone.
XTENDAV.com, Extend Technologies. We were seeing all sorts of forecasts for snow in the area. In fact, I'm watching those forecasts on my 85-inch TV furnished by Extend Technologies.
Yes.
And why is that important? Well, I don't know how much you got on, what was it, Wednesday night into Thursday.
It was enough.
But did you get 8? We got like 7. We got like 7 inches in Bay Village.
7 inches?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we didn't get that much.
Yeah.
No, we didn't. No.
So depending on where you are, but why don't you think about what it could be on December 31st? Because
92.3 The Fan.
Like as players and as teammates, we have to be able to gel with each other and be comfortable with each other in every situation. That takes time. That takes a lot of things. So, this team is not going to be a microwave thing. We're going to have sparks. We're going to have here and there, but it's going to take time to be able to develop that chemistry with everybody, to be on the same page with Jerry. Of course, you want to be able to get him the ball, but you got to understand it take time.
Well, it's another day that ends in Y. Jerry Jeudy was upset. What'd you think of that little sideline thing?
Yeah, I had no problem with that. I think it's just the frustration of the fans now.
Actually did.
Well, we had said all year, where are the guys getting animated? We want to see the coaches getting animated too. But I think it's, first of all, receivers in this league. I mean, there are so many of them that fly off the handle and get into it with their guys. And I didn't think that was nearly as bad. That was a very frustrated wide receiver, having a conversation with his quarterback. I think that's pretty typical in the NFL.
I would have thought it was pretty typical of the NFL till Ethan Posick had to get up and kind of shoo him off. When Ethan Posick stood up and shooed him off, I'm serious. I felt, okay, well, he's clearly not saying anything constructive. You can be passionate and angry. I get that. There's a lot of emotion that goes on in a football game, on the sideline, in the stands, in the press box, everywhere. It's an emotional game. And you can have emotion and still be clear with one another there. But clearly, when Ethan Posick stands up and kind of shoos him off, I think it reached a point where this is not going to be helpful to Shedeur Sanders. And that's kind of where I have the problem. We got to be understanding here that you had Dylan Gabriel before, you have Shedeur Sanders now. They're both rookies, and they're not going to be able to see the entire field. And I think that's probably what Jerry's problem is that he's just not looking at number 3 probably first and foremost. Now, I don't know if that's how the plays are designed. I don't know what it is, but Jerry's obviously upset. I don't know how many other people seem to be upset. They all seem to really like Shedeur Sanders in that locker room. And maybe Jerry likes him personally, but Jerry's clearly mad during the game. So something needs to be fixed in that sense. I would like them to throw to their number 1 wide receiver, but if the guy ain't open, then the guy ain't open. Now, Jerry probably feels he's open because I don't think we've ever seen a wide receiver who doesn't think he's open.
You don't think Judy's been getting open?
I would feel that if he were the number 1 wide receiver and he were open, I would imagine that Shedeur Sanders would throw to him. His number 1 wide receiver was open a bunch in college, and he threw to him. So that's where I think that the play should be designed. But again, I don't know how they come up with their plans, and I don't know what they're really talking about. They might want to shorten up some of this stuff and go, okay, this is to Harold, or this is to David, or anything like that. These are dump offs here. I mean, they tried to do a lot of things that I frankly agreed with. The making sure that you ran at a defensive line that isn't that good, that you didn't try to force the ball down the field until you had to. I thought that these were better things. It was, again, when your special teams does things so ridiculous that put you against it, and your 4th down and a half call was ridiculous, where you got guys running onto the field, take the timeout, you can and you can go ahead and punt it away because it's 10-8 at that point. If you punted it away, I know everybody in the world will call you a sissy, and that's not what you do, and this is what the chart says, but you've taken a timeout, and you could always say, we're going to put it back in our defense's hands. We're going to have a little bit of better field position.
At your own 35 with as dominant as your defense had played?
Possibly. That's possible.
I would not have complained.
Well, I thought in so many ways maybe he felt he was damned if he does and damned if he doesn't, but it's better than the result that would have happened. Punting it out and making him drive 80 yards on you or whatever would have been a better outcome than what had actually happened. It took you 9 plays to get 20-something yards. I can't imagine if you would even get into the end zone if it were to take that. So I think that would have been a little bit easier for him. But it's frustrating when you had to change it so much, where I think we have to go back and understand that this guy's behind. It's not a good offense to begin with. And making him have to stand back and throw the ball all over the place where your offensive line is not good. You have backup offensive linemen in.
So I thought the line looked good in the first half. I thought
because they ran the ball a whole bunch.
Yeah,
they had to.
So right now, I think my issue. Look, the quarterback play. I mean, the stats, EPA per play. I think Shedeur is dead last in the NFL. It's only been 2.5 games, so I'm not reading way too much into it. It looks to me the same as Gabriel though, and those numbers match my eyes. It's been pretty bad. The only difference is that Shedeur has been able to hit on some big ones, some splash plays. But they're not asking him to do much at all. I mean, it's just death by 1,000 screens. And eventually, you saw that was Salah's game plan was we are only going to rush 4. We're going to have 7 back. We're going to keep everything in front of us. And eventually the Browns will revert to making mistakes, or we'll have some sort of play that'll blow it up. I mean, they moved the ball the entire first half, and I didn't think it had anything to do with Shedeur. I think it was just screenplay, runs, yards after catch, Fannin.
But that's what I wanted to see.
But then
that's why
what are we evaluating then? I guess anybody can do that. How many quarterbacks in the league can't do that?
No, my other guy wasn't doing it. He wasn't conducting the offense. I was excited that they actually moved the ball and had a drive. I know it was a 34-yard touchdown pass, and that's what excites the fan base and excites people in the stands, but I was glad that they were able to execute an offense.
Yeah, they had 8 points. I mean, I just
better than 0 points.
I'm not seeing anything truly when we talk about like a difference maker, like it's 1 or 2 throws a game. That to me is not something where I'm like, we are not drafting a quarterback. Top of the top of the draft.
Don't move the conversation. I'm sorry. I'm not talking about not drafting a quarterback next year. I thought the comparison we were making was with Dylan Gabriel, because Dylan's not completing the screens. Dylan's not completing the short throws. The offense isn't moving with Dylan. All right? Like, he could at least complete the screens. The short throws are the short throws. Okay, I don't know if either can conduct the short throws.
I want to be clear.
And the offense seemed to move.
I said I think he's better, even though, again, the analytical stats are saying he's not better. He's the absolute worst in the NFL. For me, my eyes are telling me he's better than Dylan, but not... There's no huge chasm between the two. You think there is?
I feel completely different with Shedeur Sanders.
I think he had more time to throw. I thought that offensive line in the first half was a nice carryover from the offensive line against the Raiders, where I was like, man, they're getting better. And then Conklin had to leave the game, unfortunately. And then the Wyatt Teller, what is going on with they basically are telling Wyatt, we know you're not in our future, so we need to start.
I don't know what's going on there. I think you're looking in the wrong direction, if they're talking about not being in the future. I was hoping that there was some sort of an injury. I hate to say it, because I just don't think that that's any bit possible whatsoever. I think that there's some Wyatt people out there that are kind of nuts about how bad he is or whatever. I'm like, no, I think you're looking in the wrong direction personally, but that's just me being personal.
But anyway, all I'm saying is first half, like with the running game they had and the protection, you got to put up more than 8 points. That's all.
Well, let me take a look here, because I thought the first one was the first series is always try to get to know you. And if you end up scoring out of that, fine, because I know they've been able to score out of that before. But other than that, again, I was happy that they ran an offense and actually moved the football down the field in some fashion, whether it be running it or whether it be throwing it. I thought without Jack Conklin in the game, which Jack Conklin came out, second quarter or third quarter? Without Jack Conklin in the game, I felt that you have to run the ball more, but you ended up costing yourself on special teams. Lima,
I felt the exact same way I would have felt with Dylan Gabriel once they got down. No chance. I would have felt that with Dylan Gabriel, and I felt that way with Shedeur. Zero chance.
I'm sorry. I guess then this is such a sad bar to say, and this is a sad sentence. I'm just more entertained by the other guy. I'm not entertained by Dylan Gabriel whatsoever.
Yeah, that's true.
And I have some sliver of hope with Shedeur. I have zero hope with Dylan Gabriel.
Honestly, it feels to me, and this. I
can meet you halfway on something else.
This is what the people are going to take this away. I felt like I did watching Johnny Manziel, where Johnny connected on some big plays. He had some explosive plays. He had 2 bombs in the Tennessee game. He had a way of getting out of the pocket. All right, I'm going to dance around. Someone's finally going to get open. And then he'll let it fly. But no anticipatory throws. I'm not seeing any of that from Shedeur. I'm not seeing him throw guys open. I'm not seeing, that internal clock. He doesn't know when to run or take off. And by the way, I wouldn't expect that. He's a 5th-round pick. And he's had very limited reps, which, we've made a big deal about. But I'm not seeing that innate thing that I was hoping to see, where it just was like, oh, man, this guy should have been playing from day one. I'm not seeing that at all.
When you say Johnny, I understand about the lack of actually putting together all the drives and everything. I was happy. I wanted to see from last week to this week, I wanted him to put together one drive. And I know it was all run except for one pass. I was happy with that. I wanted to see more of it. When you say Johnny, obviously people take into everything else that they feel with Johnny, and that's a bunch of negative stuff. That's nasty. I mean, that's a triggering word, Johnny Manziel. It's a triggering word when you put him against any quarterback that's ever played for the Cleveland Browns, whether that be Dylan or Shedeur. But the thing I can meet you halfway on, my plans for the future haven't changed. And I don't think they've changed for the Cleveland Browns. I got 5 more games for Shedeur to help change that attitude, but I don't think it's been changed in the first 2 games. I don't think it has. And you could say, well, it's the lack of this, the lack of that, the lack of help. Okay, there's plenty of things for it, but that doesn't mean I change my plans because of the lack thereof. I could say he didn't get enough reps, he didn't get enough practice, he didn't get enough this, he didn't get enough that. I still have to bet against that and probably go in a different direction next year in the first round. If I'm the Browns, that's the way I got to do it.
Okay,
now,
that's
he
what
can
I'm saying.
change that, but there's so much more that's stacked against him.
I'm not seeing anything where if they fired Stefanski at the end of the year, a new coach came in, where that new coach is going to be like, we're starting Shedeur.
No, I think that's probably the worst thing for Shedeur and the Browns. Is I think that if they let, and this is something that I don't understand that a lot of people, we got to get Shedeur away from Kevin. We got to get Shedeur away from Kevin. You could get Shedeur away from Kevin during the season if you wanted to. All right, fine. Go right on ahead and do that if you really wanted to do that. But I think that when you look at what they're going to do, they want to throw their trust into whoever they're hiring. So they did this before, and they'll do this again. If they were to let go of Kevin at the end of the year, and then they were to let go of Andrew Berry at the end of the year, new guys are going to come in. We have to understand this together. It's not just Shedeur fans. It's not just people who are Browns fans. We all have to understand this together. No matter what you and I believe, the people in the NFL don't believe it. The people coming in do not believe it. They're not going to make their decision on their next head coach based on what that guy thinks he can do with Shedeur Sanders. That guy and that new that new general manager are going to come in and they're going to go, whatever it is before, we want out of it. There will definitely be some players that they want to keep. There will definitely be a lot of players that go, and he'll be one of them. And they're going to want to go in a different direction. The NFL still believes what they believe about Shedeur. We can believe and say anything we want. We can put out all the YouTube videos we want. It doesn't matter. The NFL has told us time and time again, without telling us, how they feel about the young man. Whether we believe it's fair or not, that's how they feel. If you get a new head coach, he's gone. If you get a new general manager, I firmly believe that whether a new head coach or new general manager, he's just not with the team next year. And they will move on. And then for him, what situation is he going to get to go to? Maybe he gets to go to a better situation. I hope so. But what situation is he going to go back to? Probably the same situation now that he's already been drafted and now he would possibly be a free agent. The same situation that a lot of teams thought he should have gone to in the first place. Was behind a long-term veteran starter or a franchise guy to sit back and who knows if we'd ever get to really see him again. Who knows? But by this time, you guys got to remember, the NFL feels totally different about than we do. And they see this hornet's nest that goes on around this guy where we can't even get through a press conference without cussing each other out. And it's none of it is his fault. I don't blame him for any of it.
I would say this too. Shedeur's fan base is very loyal to him, right? I appreciate their passion, but
Tone.
I'm telling you, you are not helping his future because Kevin Stefanski has never been called the things in his life that he has once Shedeur came in. And that is going to follow wherever Shedeur ends up next. What GM, what coach is going to want to invite your fan base, Shedeur? Not Shedeur's fault, but the fan base. What coach, what system, what GM, what ownership is going to want to bring on the personal shots? Now even Jerry Jeudy is not allowed to get an argument with his quarterback without people calling him really bad things.
Well, I'm not saying anything about Jerry Jeudy that's better than what I just said.
About because I saw that yesterday. People putting up clips from Roots, like they're calling Jerry Jeudy that. Like, you think a lot of teams want to invite you guys to the party? No thanks. Not for a 5th-round pick that has the worst EPA in all of football per
first
play.
Off,
Nobody's going to want to invite that.
No idea about any of that.
I'll show you.
Well, I don't even want to see it, to be honest with you, okay? So I don't know anything about that with Jerry Jeudy.
Do you think any of these teams watch Shannon Sharp and all of the former players, Emmanuel Acho, taking personal shots at their moral compass? You think they're going to want that over a 5th-round pick?
The situation, the best situation, if this were to all end, would be with him behind any veteran QB that's been in the league for a long time that we know where their standing is in this league, whether it be Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. I don't know how much time Stafford has left, but you get what I'm saying. Like the long-term franchise veteran QBs. That would be the best shot. But any team that has any question at that quarterback position, including ours, going into next year, it changes. That's why it's so important. He's got 5 games left to change that. And so far, it hasn't changed that much. If we're comparing him between Dylan Gabriel and him, I'm taking him every time. I don't need to see Dylan Gabriel. I feel bad for Dylan Gabriel in so many ways.
He got booed. Yesterday, when he came into the game off his concussion, the kid gets booed. He was a draft pick, too. He's a rookie. He's just trying to get all the same stuff Shador fans are saying about how bad the offense is, how bad the coach is. Gabriel's had the same mix.
All I'm seeing is, you know what?
Who wants to sign up for this?
I feel bad for Dylan Gabriel's sake, but I think at the end of all this, I might end up feeling even bad for Shador. Because I don't know. I saw some goofball named John, who I don't know who the hell this guy. Do you know a name John Root?
I've seen it.
I thought it was
another grifter.
I thought it was a parody account. Apparently, this person is real, going after Shador Sanders, and I'm like, this is
stupid.
This is ridiculous and disgusting. So I look at him and I go, well, now you're just used by both sides, so people can get their YouTube clips up. And then for Dylan Gabriel, obviously everybody just is more excited by Shador Sanders. He comes out in the field, he got booed yesterday. Which you pay your money, you're allowed to boo. I got to stand by that. But my God. The Jerry Jeudy stuff I don't even want to see. I don't think that it was constructive for him to be yelling at Shador Sanders on the sideline. And the reason I say yell is because Ethan Posick had to get up and kind of get in between it. Everything else about Jerry Jeudy, I don't. It's been a bad year, and I don't like his attitude, to be honest with you. But anything else, I ain't going to say. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about there. And I don't even want to know. Darryl Ryder coming up at 8:20 this morning. Shador that much better than Dylan Gabriel? Am I just lying to myself? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app.
All right, the
Looking for a unique and fulfilling career? Join the United States Secret Service. To find out more, attend our career information session on Saturday, December 27th at 3 p.m. at the Cleveland Field Office. To register, email cle.recruitment@secretservice.gov. That's cle.recruitment@secretservice.gov.
Want to talk Browns while you're at work? Baskin and Phelps, weekdays starting at 10 on 92.3 The Fan.
Lima likes coming up at 7:45. Lima liked one result, even though he was at a disastrous result on Saturday.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my gosh. That coming up at 7:45. Also, Daryl's going to join us at 8:20. Does Shedeur and Kevin Stefanski need each other? I want to ask Daryl that coming up at 8:20. 216-474-0092. Also, be careful out there. The roads are terrible. They're showing 90 at Eddie right now. It's a disaster. Everything's slow.
I almost did the whirly bird coming off of East 9th today, and I go, man, I should know of all people, I cannot be coming down here this fast just because everything was cool right up until now. And I started to wobble a little bit, and I'm like, oh, I have chosen poorly.
You have chosen very poorly. Yeah. You can't be full of yourself on the roads there. No. Be careful. 216-474-0092. Let me get to Cool Ray and well, here we go. Hello, Cool Ray.
Hey, what's up? Good morning, fellas.
Is this just going to turn into a Fire Stefanski call? I know that's what you want, but I mean, we got to go further than that, don't we?
Man, listen, it's time. Listen, I watched that game in great detail, right? Because we all know I want Stefanski going. To answer your question, Shedeur doesn't need Stefanski. Stefanski got to be gone. But yesterday, you can call it what you is, but your argument, he's way better than Dylan. But my thing is that I watch those routes. Like, I'm at a point where I'm watching the routes of these receivers. Because I really want to see, is it just a young quarterback just not seeing the field, or it's the routes? And if you really go back and look at the routes that these guys are running, they're so simple. They're like Madden 90. They're like Madden 89 routes. There's no double moves. There's no hitch routes. There's absolutely nothing that's going to pull even a rookie DB off.
Why don't they? By the way, Cool Ray, you're not wrong, but what double moves in that weather on that footing? I mean, you even saw Shedeur when he slid. Like those guys aren't gonna. They're not going to be doing all sorts of crazy stuff. I mean, Jeremiah Smith did one in the Michigan game, but he's also the number one wide receiver, prospect in a long time.
But you know what? When I play receiver, when I play football, sometimes it's really not you know what you want to do. Sometimes it's just a shifting of your shoulders. Like, you use your elements to your advantage. This is what. So Judy getting up in his face, because we saw Shedeur feeding Judy in the beginning of the game. We literally saw that. So it's almost like Shedeur's trying to feed you, but we also know, if anybody play football, sometimes you're the decoy on the play. So, it's almost like you're saying, so my thing is this with Judy.
Judy had 4 targets the entire game. What do you mean feeding?
Yeah, but we don't know the complexities of the route.
Well, if you only get 4 targets, you get 3 in the first half. That's feeding them.
And then you sit back. He only had 12 passing yards in the third quarter. And we looked at these mistakes made by the offensive line, dropping the ball, 4th and one, giving these guys, not making it, giving San Francisco a short field. Like, this had nothing to do with Shedeur. These mistakes that the Browns are making are shooting themselves in the foot. But my thing is this: when you make such simple routes, where your son, if he was playing Pee-wee football, if these are the routes that they're running, no slant. When have we seen a slant route? We haven't seen one. Everything is just go. Like this how you get your guys open. Like, this is what I was surprised to see.
What guys other than my tight ends do I trust going over the middle on a slant? I mean,
you know what? They're professional. They're professional football players.
Are they?
Paid money.
Are they? Just because? Yes. Hey, listen. Honestly, that doesn't matter. Just because I pay a guy money doesn't mean he's cut out for the job I'm paying him for.
But guess what? You scouted him. You interviewed them. You drafted them. Yeah. You know their strengths.
Yes.
That's what the coaches
do. Sir. I think, Cool Ray, I think they're running the routes that they're capable of running. I think that you're hitting on, I don't even disagree with you, Cool Ray. I think you're just hitting on a bunch of things that are absolutely valid. See, this is what I hate about some of these shows, especially this time of year. Cool Ray, I don't disagree with basically anything you're saying. It's just there's so little time to go over all the things that are wrong. Thank you for the call. Like, we can yell about the routes. Who's the wide receivers?
Well,
Who picks the wide receivers? That's a totally different show.
They have, and this was the same for Flacco, Gabriel, whoever ends up, if you know who gets a chance to go out there and the window is magically opened up for him to be able to start playing in games this year, no matter what. We said this from moment one this year. Even the most delusional of Browns fans weren't in on this wide receiving court. They have the worst group in the league. Now, by extension of that, you have two tight ends. I don't know, Njoku at this point, he's not the same player he was. I think we all can agree with that now. I mean, he's playing like he's 33 years old, and he's been here a long time. But I don't know how much meat is left on that bone. But Fannon's exciting. But he's had so many different quarterbacks to work with. We're expecting Travis Kelce and to just be in simpatico with a quarterback. That's just not going to happen when he's worked with so many quarterbacks this year.
DJ Northfield, you're next up on the Fan. Hello.
Hey, how y'all doing? First time caller, long time fan.
Thank you.
This is a great thing. Shedeur absolutely needs Kevin. I don't understand how anybody thinks anything differently. I mean, I do. I won't call Shedeur's fans what they are, and we all know they are, but we can't speak on that. But it's not his fault by any stretch of the imagination. No fifth-round pick is guaranteed a spot with a new head coach in any system ever in the history of the NFL. So this narrative that now Shedeur, and I'm not saying it's y'all's narrative, but I see people, oh, man, get Stefanski out of there, because if you get Stefanski out of there, then Shedeur can roll on, and he can finally, like even the last caller, unless I missed somebody, like, oh, man, Shedeur don't need him. He absolutely needs him. Since when do a fifth-round pick? Like, what do they think they're going to come in and say, we can build around that guy for 2.5 games that were decent?
DJ.
I'm
Stay with me here. Because, the thing about the Shedeur fans, I don't know what you're saying. I have no idea. But let me tell you this. Let me say this. If you were to fire him, this isn't an argument for his job, guys. He's 6-23. This is no argument. But if you let him go right now, do we all of a sudden believe that it's the best thing in the world to just have him stand back and gun and let it fly the entire game with that offensive line in front of him? Like, you still will have the same players. You will still have the same players. That's why it's a shared responsibility. You understand that, DJ? I think you do. It sounds like you do.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I agree with I'm talking about if we fire him now, I'm speaking on the offseason, because I don't think Kevin's getting. Do you guys think he's getting fired during the season?
In the offseason?
I think he is.
I think he'll be gone this offseason, yeah.
Okay, well then I mean, if I wouldn't be kicking and screaming if he does. Can I get you guys opinion on this really, really quickly, because I want to hear this from a professional.
Mm-hmm.
Do we believe that Kevin should get a chance to have his guy? Baker wasn't his guy, and it's just a question. Baker was already here. Deshaun, I think Jimmy on several occasions has made it clear that it was his choice, in my opinion. Dylan is a third-round pick. Shedeur is a fifth-round pick. That's usually not a team's guy. Jameis was a free agent signing. DTR was a fifth-round pick. Like, should we go into this and say, well, Kevin, you like Fernando Mendoza, show us something with him. Todd Simpson, show us something with him. Now, if you can't get it done with either one of those guys.
Let me ask you a question before I answer, because I'm going to have to let you go, but I'm going to need your answer, and then you got to hear it on the air. How much trust do you have? What percentage trust do you have in Kevin Stefanski?
Right now, I'm 50-50.
Okay. See, and DJ, thank you very much. That's where it lies. See, this is why I think that he'll be gone. Is one, it's almost like we got to put each other out of our misery here. Two, if I don't trust him, I have to trust him. If I don't, and I'm going to let him make a decision on my quarterback, already the way he just said it, I have to admit, I felt differently about Fernando Mendoza the second DJ said that. What's that mean? My trust is at an all-time low. It's a bad situation from in out. And I could say, well, some of this isn't Kevin's fault. You're the head coach of the football team. And if you've got your power taken away from you, then I still can't trust you to be the head coach of the football team. I can blame people above you, and I'm sure we will. but we still have to move forward here in a different direction. So I could say, well, this guy wasn't Kevin's guy. That guy wasn't Kevin's guy. Well, that's part of the problem. You've been the head coach for 6 years. You don't have a guy?
Yeah, I'd almost rather pair up Signetti with the quarterback.
Maybe it's not out of the question. Probably after that contract, I think it's probably out of the question. But that's why I feel that this will go in this direction this offseason. By the way, you have a thing about the booze or whatever?
Yeah, we had somebody tweet us and say that they weren't maybe necessarily booing. It was really bad timing. They weren't booing Gabriel.
Okay, because two broadcasts felt it was about Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, somebody at the game said it had more to do with what they were showing on the Jumbotron, which was maybe a questionable late hit on Shedeur when he had that really bad slide.
Well, you know what? I hope it was that. I don't necessarily believe it, but I hope it was that. Coming up at 8:20, the dangerous one, Darryl Ryder. What do you have next?
There was a lot to like over the weekend, and it was what went down from noon till about 3 o'clock on Saturday.
In what city?
In that state up north.
Okay, because it wasn't very good in the city I was at. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app. Window Nation.
Does Lima like?
Or does Lima no like?
Like? Tell me likey. I'm liking it. I like it a lot. No like. He doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
You're tacky and I hate you.
Like or no like. Like or no like.
But I definitely knew what I liked, and I definitely knew what I didn't like.
All right, strike up the band, not Ken's Michigan music.
I'm not a Michigan fan.
Because the Buckeyes back on top of the world.
I'm not a Michigan fan.
All right, so
Lima lies.
yeah, they took care of business. It wasn't exactly the prettiest game of all time. I was even asking my buddies because obviously I was kind of focused on the game I was doing, which was Youngstown State blowing a 35-7 lead against the Ivy League's Yale Bulldogs.
That was a sad.
Crazy scene. So I'm sitting there with a Michigan man, Marcus Ray, and I could tell by the text he was getting because we were trying to stay focused. We did not have the game on. He was downtrodden, so I could tell that things were going well for Ohio State and through some of the texts that I was getting. But it just seemed like a very workmanlike approach, but holy cow.
Lima lies.
Bo Jackson. What a performance. What an outstanding 20 for 117. He had 4 carries, 49 yards, and he brought that physicality, that rugged running game. It was nice to have again for Ohio State. What a performance.
I felt that C.J. Donaldson is just the change of pace guy and Bo Jackson is the star. Let's call it what it is. I know that they paid C.J. Donaldson to go there. Boy, you used to say that back in the day, and that was fighting words. Now you're just like, oh, no, they paid him. I'm sure Bo Jackson isn't playing for free, but you get what I'm saying, Huck. He's a high school recruit, and there's just a clear difference in the pop. There's a clear difference in the type of running back that one guy is, and the future with that guy is Bo Jackson. You said
star, like we've been following Bo, since his high school days.
Yeah.
But I early in the season, I was like, man, they're starting the wrong guy. It seemed like C.J. Donaldson was the guy. And then when I saw Bo Jackson, I'm like, oh, he's clearly better. But I wasn't necessarily like, he's going to dominate Michigan. And then he had that performance.
It's just like every single, like I saw him against Kenston. All right, Kenston. I mean, there's a high. Kenston's a good program. You get what I'm saying. Vazage is a good program as well. But you see him warming up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can see why that guy's Ohio State. And then he took one turn on a sweep and go, oh, that's why. Okay. And then unfortunately he got banged up in that game, and I don't think he played for the rest of the season. They had to shut him down. But at Ohio State, it's totally oh yeah, that guy's special. Okay, he's totally different than anything else. And I disagree. I thought it was a very nice game. I thought it was a great game by everybody involved. It really was. I know that the first when they held him after a bad pick, when they held him to another field goal and it was 6-0, they go, I got a bad feeling the way this one's going for Michigan today. And Axel's like, what are you talking about? It's like last year. I go, no, it ain't gonna go that way, buddy. I got a stealing feeling.
I'm alive.
Well, Julian saying rallying after that really bad interception, where it seemed like everybody immediately wanted to pile on and act like this was going to revert back to the old days. Maybe if I had been watching in real time, I might have started to be in my feelings too. But after that interception, what a bounce back. He ends up going 19 of 26, had huge third down conversions, had that nice run where I even afterwards that night while I was putting up the tree and I had the game on replay, saw Ryan Day sprinting down the sidelines as well. Like they were fired up in a big way. And now Heisman odds, Mendoza still the slight favorite. And right now, Julian Sand is right there. And obviously with the Big Ten
Saturday night's the night.
We've wondered, what are they playing for these conference championship games? Both teams are going to have a bye anyway, most likely. They're playing for that. You have a chance to put up Heisman hardware. That's a big deal. That's a big deal anywhere, but certainly at Ohio State, where they treat you a little bit differently if you end up winning a Heisman. And that would be a huge, huge play. And then, what the hell happened?
Domino lights.
Second half, the comms went down in Ann Arbor on the Buckeye sideline.
That was weird.
What was that? Where was Connor Stallions? Was he allowed in the building?
You know, when the comms go down, people start to wonder, and you already kind of have it on you. So, ain't very good for Michigan.
Was it the guy that messed with the Howard Stern feed back in the day here in Cleveland?
Maybe.
Like what was happening there? You know what? But that's the kind of stuff that does make the rivalry, right?
The Admiral from the Forrest Gump speech.
Yeah, exactly. The hijinks in play do make it kind of cool. And then I loved what I heard.
Lima likes.
On the field, everybody was wondering, is there going to be a scene like last year? Are we going to have to get the mace ready? Are they going to have the National Guard right there ready to go? No, Ryan Day just acting like they had been there before. Listen to the coach.
I've thought, as you can imagine, over the years, after winning this game, what I'd say in this press conference, and I'm going to save all those comments because I think the best thing to do is win with humility, and that's what we're going to do, and I think it speaks to our program. It speaks to what it means to be a Buckeye, and we wanted to take this rivalry game back this year, and so the way that our guys played certainly spoke to that.
I think that bothered.
Well, also,
Michigan fans thought that there'd be a rumble afterwards that they could brag about or say, we're above all of it. No, Ohio State just... They actually did. They did not allow any kind of a planting of the flag. The Michigan players had all gotten around.
I was about to say
midfield.
they all
but Ryan Day
stood on the logo.
Yeah, but Ryan, which they clearly talked about that ahead of time. Like, hey, not that we're supposed to think about losing, but if we lose this game, like that, the fact that was even in their mind kind of tells you what they thought about that situation. And look, Michigan has a bunch of good players. I do think the freshman quarterback, a lot of people were making fun of how much money he makes, which comes with the territory now, right? I do think he'll play much better than that. That was just not ready for primetime moment, and he's being paid like he's ready for prime time.
Yeah, Ohio State's a different animal. And that's the thing. To get the guys, you got to pay them like they're going to be ready for prime time. And they're still kids. Excuse me. He is a tax-paying adult American citizen. But still, they're still young. Like, you need experience in those moments. And when you're Julian saying, he's technically had experience. I mean, he stood there last year when this stuff happened. And Bryce Underwood did not. And there's a tremendous difference in that. Even by standing there on the sidelines and seeing it all and having to do dummy signals and all that other stuff that backups have to do, it's a totally different type of thing. And I think Michigan's going to have to hit the portal and go get some real wide receivers, because that is not what Ohio State... They do not have the type of horses to keep up with Ohio State with that, but I am happy that Ohio State won, as much as Lima wants you guys to think I'm a Michigan fan.
Quickly, just rough stretch for the Cavs. They lose 3 in a row. They don't make the wild card for the Cup. We don't even have time for the Cup music, but they lose 117-115. They got torched. Peyton Pritchard was the best player in the game. He went off, scored 42 points, hit 6 threes. And this is your Cavs Surfside update, brought to you by Surfside. It was really bad. And then to hear one of the Cavs players, Jalen Tyson, say this.
Like Hunt said, the young guys and the role players, like, it shouldn't be us having to bring energy every time, right? Like, everybody has to bring energy. Everybody has to pour into this thing.
Is he calling out some of the core players? I know Jared Allen was not available last night, but...
Calling
out some other guys
who
they
are.
May not be holding up their end of the bargain, because the young guys
they are.
Been playing well. I thought Proctor had good minutes. Porter had good minutes. Oh. Jalen Tyson has had a bunch of good games.
Not good enough.
He's
calling out, brother.
Kenny Atkinson. This is kind of, I know the playoff series was a wake-up call, certainly, but they had guys injured. To hear that from one of your guys.
One of your young guys.
That's...
Oh.
And by the way, no problem. If I have to hear it from one of the young guys, then that's it. I wonder how that's going to go over.
Jalen likes his comments spicy.
I wonder how that's going to go over with guys that have been comfortable in their situation. But to hear that from him, I like it. But I don't like that he has to say it. That's it for Lima Lights.
Wasn't it Ty Jerome who sent the text during the playoffs and went 0 for 9?
No, Strus.
It was Max Strus. It was a Strus Moose. Okay. Well, Strus Moose can't do nothing now. He's coming back. Okay. Is that it for Lima Lights?
Oh, and then, we got to, at some point this week, we got to talk about Darius Garland, because on the broadcast yesterday, basically said he's going to be managing this toe injury all year. And then what, for the rest of his career?
I don't know for the rest of his career, but all
Brad
year.
Doherty basically said yes.
All right, Darryl Ryder going to join us at 8:20. Relax. Coming up in 5 minutes, the Browns, they might have lost the game yesterday to the 49ers, but they won the post-game war of words. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, and Shelby Harris in 5 minutes on The Fan.
you have nothing good to say, don't say something to somebody. So he had a lot to say that was demeaning and disparaging towards some of our players, and I was just trying to separate everybody. And I tried to go up and ask what the problem was, and then he started coming at me. Some guys just roll like that. I don't feel like that belongs in the game, but hey, if that works for him and them, then more power to him.
History would show you better be careful what you say to Myles Garrett. That's Myles talking about Jawan Jennings. Browns lost yesterday 26-8. Shelby Harris, he was not as diplomatic about Jawan Jennings. Here is Shelby Harris, Browns defensive tackle. The original words transpired right after Malik Collins got hurt, I think it was.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, that's where I marked it down in my notes here. Here is the post game. Here's Shelby Harris talking about Jawan Jennings.
He's a and I want that known. Like, I see why he got punched in the because that's some, he says some things that you should not say to another man ever, but I don't respect it because you say that, then run behind your O-line. That's some real soft and I want that known. I see exactly why they punched him in the I'm surprised nobody punched him in the jaw yet.
Shelby Harris.
This is what? Back-to-back weeks now? That he's been involved in something?
Apparently, yes.
And what, last week? Or
you talking about Jawan Jennings? Or okay, you're not talking about Shelby Harris.
I don't remember the receiver, but it got him suspended for a game.
Shelby Harris is a player union rep, too. So that's like, you know what I mean? Like, boy, that ain't good. I don't know what was said. I know that there was some...
I wish we had some audio or something because it obviously was not going to be a big part of the broadcast. They didn't catch it.
Well, because there was something that happened right before Malik Collins got hurt. Then there was something that happened like right after Malik Collins got hurt. Then there were a bunch of people giving handshakes and pats to Malik Collins as he got loaded up on the cart, which was terrible. The guy was having an incredible year. So it was a little bit of a bizarre set of circumstances because I watched it on the broadcast and I heard Andrew and Nathan talking about it. I don't know what was said. Clearly, it was obviously reprehensible. If you have Myles Garrett saying what he said, then Shelby Harris saying what he said, which you can find the unedited clip on the internet there. But he was very upset. So clearly he said some things that were way out of bounds, even in a pro football game. I don't know what he said. I don't want to know what he said. I mean, obviously, I kind of do want to know what he said, but that would elicit such a reaction out of the Cleveland Browns, I think I would want to know. So I guess I do want to know what he said.
He's having obviously, too, Collins having a massive season with the Browns. He was with San Francisco a season ago. It's already eclipsed his sack total from last year, was 6.5.
Well, that was one of the things that they were saying with Brock Purdy's contract, where if you look at his, like the sacks were bad, the sacks were worse for Shedeur, but if you look at their numbers, they're pretty similar numbers. Now, I know one is like, he had to put like the elbow heater on in the sideline, but the other guy doesn't have a lot of experience whatsoever. But it was highlighted, I think, if it was not Nathan, it would have been Trent Green during the game. Like, this is one of the decisions they had to make where, they have Jordan Elliott starting on their defensive line. Yeah. They have 3 different middle linebackers because of injury, and Fred Warner's one of the best in the game. You lose Nick Bosa, and then you have guys who are our cast-offs. Clelin Ferrell, who's a bust in so many ways, having to make plays for them. I think that's part of the reason why some people are upset. For whatever reason, this team, Kyle Shanahan couldn't get out of here fast enough. On the first thing smoking, to the point where he was willing to put together PowerPoint presentations to leave. And we give them fits. And the Browns give the 49ers fits. The Browns are actually 4-3 since 1999 against San Francisco, whether it be San Francisco's own problems or us just getting in the way. And that's part of the reason fans are so upset, because you were just so abysmal on special teams, which is a point of pride for a lot of folks where they pay attention to their special teams. They know games can be won and lost on special teams. It can make you feel worse. And here you are feeling even worse because the special teams were abysmal and cost you so much in this football game yesterday. And now it leads us to a lot of different things where, I kind of got to remain on track. Like Shedeur's problems, I want to keep on Shedeur's problems. His good things, I want to keep to his good things. I don't want to have my special teams thoughts permeate into whether or not I believe or don't believe in Shedeur Sanders as well, or even for the future. Because it ended up being a pretty promising first half to an out-and-out disaster in the second half where now we wonder about the future of everybody. Kevin Stefanski was asked about Shedeur Sanders. He immediately said he's the starter. And then Yesterday, this was Scott Petrak and Shedeur. Do we have the first question first too? Okay, here's Scott Petrak's question. Hopefully, with Shedeur's answer. Go ahead.
Yeah, those 4th and 1, those 2 4th and 1s that didn't work. And did you like Kevin having the aggressiveness there, even backed up in your territory? First, that's a rude question to ask. If I think it was a great call by my coach. Do you like the aggression? Not do you like the call? Like, do you like? I like being out there playing. So whatever that comes with, it comes with. We're not gonna be here ever point finger at no coach or do anything like that. That's extremely disrespectful, and that's not even in my place. So I'm thankful for being out there, honestly, and I'm thankful that us as an offense to be able to go out there and be able to execute. Did we execute? No, we didn't. But just thankful that we have that trust.
See, this is where it's getting a little bit weird now.
Did he mishear the question?
I think that
there's no way that he heard the question as asked.
Hold on, though.
Because the question as asked was such a hey, talk, in the belief of your coach that you guys could get 4th downs. Like that was kind of a layup where he actually ended up, if you set aside the beginning of it, back in his coach, which is what the question was intended to do for the most part. I mean, I don't want to put too much into it from Scott's point of view on why he asked the question, but he's basically saying, hey, didn't you love that he went for those on 4th down?
Yeah, those 4th and 1, those 2 4th and 1s that didn't work. And did you like Kevin having the aggressiveness there, even backed up in your territory? First, that's a rude question to ask. If I think it was a great call by my coach. Do you like the aggression? Not do you like the call? Like, do you like? I like being out there playing. So whatever that comes with, it comes with.
Well, I also think
that there's nothing rude about the question.
There was nothing rude about the question. Now, you and I both know Scott. I know Scott for 14 years. Scott doesn't mean to be rude about anything. But this is where I think Shedeur is very cognizant of what's being said around him and is trying to do everything he can to not fan flames against his own team or against his own coaching
staff. Which he's never done.
Because he's been very, very good with that because he knows that what he says carries a lot of weight with his massive fan base. And so if he were to say anything that would be incendiary towards his coaching staff or any of his other players, he knows that would not go well. He seems to be very well liked in the locker room. And he seems to be very well liked amongst the people who work around the football team. And there's a lot of things to like him. I think he probably might have misheard it a little bit because what was the one clip that Florio wrote about with Jeff Shedeur asking questions and said they were setting up Kevin Stefanski or somebody, or was it even Shedeur?
It's the one that we played last Wednesday. Let me go find it.
Yeah, we got to find it because the Florio was upset about it. I mean, even the questions. And, hey, I'm a fly off the handle type of guy. I've said some things about media guys and their questions that I hadn't had the full scope of everything. All Jeff Shedeur asks are questions the fans want to hear. They want answers to it. So Florio, who does fly off the handle in his own right, gosh, we've known that. Florio, I think, flew off the handle and took it the wrong way. But I also think that Shedeur is very cognizant and very sensitive to anything that can be seen as a negative towards the coaching staff and towards the team. I don't think that it's Shedeur really feeling that way. I think Shedeur knows that how much weight his words carry, and he is not going to sit there and make any... He's got 5 games left in this season. He's not going to make anything worse on him.
Well, Kenny, people are analyzing, and I'm talking about mostly his fans, they're analyzing his Thanksgiving dinner videos that get released and the interactions with his brother and, everybody at the dinner table. Like they're going over every single word and part of his sentence as if, what does that mean? What does that mean? Does he like Kevin? Does he not like Kevin? Does he like his teammates? Does he not like teammates? Like,
this really happens? They watch a Thanksgiving dinner video?
Yes. Yes,
guys,
it's all content.
It's also out there, guys.
Yeah,
and what other
content.
quarterback has ever put their Thanksgiving prayer out there?
What 5th round pick has ever put that stuff out there? Well, can I say,
well, he obviously has a very strong following. All right? I'm not trying to play dumb here. Like, there has been several things mentioned. I'm going to go, and they're excited or upset about what? Like, I don't know. I'm not watching his YouTube videos or anything.
You're not consuming Shedeur content?
No, but
why
for
not,
that
Kenny?
matter, if Carson Schlesinger put something out there, I don't think I would. Am I not doing my job by watching his Thanksgiving dinner video?
I want to know how it's not coming across your desk. What ecosystem are we in?
Do you want me to go after Mitch for not putting it across my desk? I don't think Mitch knows me. He knows I'm not interested in watching people eat Thanksgiving dinner.
Maybe it's because the Shedeur fans have targeted me and my family that's come across my algorithm a little more frequently. That they're not doing it to yours.
Well, I'm not gonna. I'm sorry that they've gotten personal with you. I'm going to do everything I can to not make it personal because I don't know what the hell's going on.
It's fun. It's just sports. We're having fun.
You said the one. No, I don't want to say that. I ain't going to put your business out there like that. But the one was pretty disgusting from what I know about. But I'm not paying attention to that. They're really paying attention to what he's saying to his brother during Thanksgiving dinner about what he thinks about the football coach?
Anything, because they are consuming every bit of Shedeur content in a way I've never seen before. I've never seen this kind of, like, we kind of joked about Deshaun Watson and his film crew, over the last few years. That pales in comparison to what's going on with Shedeur.
What are you doing here, guys? What are we doing? They got to work together. He ain't getting fired. I don't think he's getting fired anyway, not until the end of the year.
Who?
They got to work together. Kevin.
Oh, Kevin.
I think they got to work together. They got to work together. This was the situation he wanted. This is the situation we got. So they're going to have to help each other. And I thought it was a good game plan going out there. Why do I have to try to create... there's a lot of people who don't like NFL head coaches. That's fine. You don't like Kevin Stefanski. That's fine. But is there a needed creation of dissension? Because I already laid it out to you. They're going to throw their lot, if they do fire Kevin and then they were to fire Andrew, they're going to throw their lot into whoever they hire. And there is a clear difference between how the NFL feels about him and how the fan bases feel about him. So if the NFL feels differently and you have NFL guys coming in, what are they going to do? They're going to remove whatever they think is going to create an unnecessary distraction. You are creating an unnecessary distraction. He's trying to not create distractions. He knows. The people that matter to Shedeur are the guys in the locker room, the guys in the offices with him. My God, this isn't that hard. This is not hard to figure out. And we're watching Thanksgiving dinner videos, you're telling me. I've never been so happy to stick my head in the sand in my entire life. Lord almighty. So what? He's talking to Shedeur Jr. and Shiloh about Thanksgiving dinner, about Kevin, and we're trying to...
It was definitely Shiloh was part of it, yeah. I don't know.
Good God. All right, Daryl next. I didn't watch any videos of his Thanksgiving dinner either, for what it's worth. Ken Carman, Tone Master General on the Fan. Tom Merriman and Merriman Legal. Folks, if you...
below his average. The team will be back in action tonight to face the Pacers. Want to catch highlights from the Fan from throughout the day? Get over to 923thefan.com or favorite the Fan on the Odyssey app for all of today's headline segments. Headline sports news every 20 minutes on 923 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
Let's bring in the dangerous one, Daryl Ryder. Hello, Daryl. How are you?
Hello, boys. Happy Monday or unhappy Monday, depending on your point of view.
It ain't a good Monday. The weather's bad. The roads are lousy. The Browns lost.
Other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
I'm sure My American Cousin was a very good play. I never saw it. Well, neither did Abe, for that matter. Let's go to this here. Daryl, first off, is it too late to get rid of what the hell's his name? Bubba Ventrone. Is it too late to get rid of Bubba Ventrone right now?
Yeah. I don't know what good comes from it right now, but at the end of the season, they have to make a change.
The good is that he's not there anymore. That's the good.
But here's the thing, right? Are the assistant coaches doing a bang-up job, right, that would take over for him? So, no, that whole special teams unit has been a catastrophe since Bubba got here. Now, he'll tell us how good they were last year. And, they did their job last year, but the first year here it was awful, it was a step back. And then this year, it's been an unmitigated disaster. And there's no accountability whatsoever. It's not like players are getting benched for making critical mistakes. He's just running the same guys out there on every play. They had so many mental errors on that unit. Not physical errors. You can deal with a physical error. That stuff happens. But I'm talking mental errors. Like, I don't know, catching a football on the boundary at the 5-yard line. Had you let it hit, you get the ball at the 40. Like, just little details like that. I'm going to give Gage Lavardin a little grace. The wind was a mess yesterday. He struggled fielding punts. It was inevitable. He was going to muff one. Everybody saw that coming. But
why even approach it?
Well, again, Ken, I'm trying to be diplomatic this morning.
I mean, you can be diplomatic all you want, but my God, hey, I feel bad too. But it wasn't inevitable that he was going to muff one.
Well, no,
don't even send him out there.
Were you watching him try and catch punts yesterday?
Yeah,
Ken?
I did. Then why
then that's why it was inevitable.
Why even have him try to catch punts? So why even have him try to catch punts?
Exactly.
Listen, I like Gage Lavardin as much as the next guy, and I know you don't want to beat him up, and neither do I. But if we're saying, well, it was inevitable, he's going to muff one. Then what's the point of even send up a guy back there? Just have him putt it and wherever the ball rolls is wherever the ball rolls. Hell, it wouldn't matter. Malachi Corey walked out of bounds with the ball anyway. So if it would have just walked out, no big deal.
Right. I mean, well, but that's the point, Ken. They didn't have anyone else to run out there. Right? They could have run you out there. It might have been an upgrade. I would have
saved them a couple of $100,000.
Well, at least you wouldn't have gotten blown over by the wind.
No, that's true. I would have made
sorry,
it over
that was a gratuitous chubby joke. I'm sorry.
I mean, let's be
honest. It's a Browns lost Monday. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Daryl, you're fine. I mean, we're all fair game here. At least I am. It's no big deal. But what the point is like, what is the disconnect here? Because I could sit there and go, hey, yeah, they're not great football players. Yeah, but you know what? You still need to pay attention to your lanes. I could be not a great football player, and I could just be outrun by anybody, like by Sky Moore. Sky Moore can fly. But I could pay attention to the lanes, so what's missing there? It still falls on Bubba Ventrone. And I got people who are coming like, well, you don't want him fired now? I go, no, if you're going to fire Bubba Ventrone, you should have fired him back at the beginning of November. You should have fired him after one of the other huge embarrassing failures that you've had. Like now, if they fired him today, I wouldn't be celebrating. I'd just be mad they didn't do it earlier because there's no season to salvage now.
Right. It's same thing goes when we were having the conversation about switching the quarterbacks, right? I mean, it's like they are what they are, and I don't know that there's any uphill climb for this team this year. They got the Titans next week. Maybe they win that game. It's certainly winnable. Titans are just as bad, if not worse, than the Browns are. But what we're learning is that there is no fool's gold to be had with this year's Browns team outside of the defense. They have an incredible defense. By the time they get this offense together, they're going to have to rebuild the defense. It just feels like a vicious cycle now we are about to embark on. And they have wasted that side of the football. And had they just gotten competent special teams play this year, guys, they might have been able to win a game or two. This special teams unit cost them points, cost them field position, and cost them games. That's the holy trinity of you-know-what in professional football. And yes, changes absolutely have to be made. If they keep Kevin Stefanski at the end of the year, Kevin's going to have to fire Bubba. And was it really an upgrade from Mike Prefer? Really? Like, was that really an upgrade? Because if I remember, they made that move like at the end of February. It was like after it was around the combine that they made that move, and it felt like, okay, they're done making changes in the offseason, and then out of nowhere, Mike Prefer's been fired, and then Bubba Ventrone ended up getting hired, and they gave him an assistant head coach title in addition to special teams coordinator to help get him out of Indianapolis, and they have reaped zero dividends from that move at all. It has not worked out. I loved Bubba Ventrone as a player when he was here with the Browns. He was gritty and all those things, right? But it's just his players have not performed for him. He might be a good coach, but here in Cleveland, his players have not performed for him. Therefore, at least with the Browns, not a good coach.
All right, Dale, what'd you think of Shedeur yesterday?
I thought he was okay in the first half. Obviously loved the touchdown to Harold Fannin. I have been impressed with his pocket presence. He's not getting the ball out fast enough. I read a stat that he had one of the longest times to throw the football that's been afforded a Browns quarterback this season yesterday. But I felt like Kevin Stefanski took the ball out of his hands in the second half. And I don't know what Shedeur did in the first half to cause Kevin to do that, because it was 10-8 at halftime. So it was a ball game. They were in it. And so that was a little disappointing. I want to see more Shedeur. I want to see him throw the ball more. Granted, he did throw it 25 times, completed 16 passes for nearly $150, but wasn't great, didn't blow you away, but just watching him operate out there, like, you can see the potential there. Certainly potential for the big plays, but again, it just felt real conservative, and understandably so because of what was in the weather forecast and the fact that it was windy. Missing that shot deep to Jerry Jeudy, that was a killer early in the ball game, though. Had him wide open, overthrew him, and I found interesting, well, not so much interesting, but I respected the honesty from Shedeur after the game, where he kept mentioning time on task, getting reps in with these guys, and that's what's going to allow him to figure out the spacing and the timing down the field to connect on those deeper passes where he's not overthrowing guys by about 5 yards when they are wide open up the middle.
All right, Daryl, they went for it on fourth down, blew up in their face. I was fine with them going for it, but then when you got people still running onto the field and nobody's ready, it's like, all right, call the timeout. If you got to punt after that, just go punt after that. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, too much confusion.
It was ugly.
Yeah, and Kevin talked about after the game, we work on it, we drill it, whatever. No, apparently you don't, because nobody seemed to know what the hell they were doing. I also didn't get the direct snap to Harold Fannin Jr. Put Quinch on there. It's been working. Also, they put Shedeur as the deep back on that play. Again, blocking a little bit challenging this year for this team, which is why they were doing, I don't know if you want to call it a true wildcat, because the quarterback's on the field for the true wildcat, but when they were doing those direct snaps to Quinchon and he was scoring the touchdowns off of those, like they were putting an extra lineman on the field. And I respect and appreciate the aggressiveness, but the organization, the execution, the operation, all of it was just a complete and utter failure.
All right. So, are we on Tommy Rees' watch, by the way?
As far as him getting other jobs, yeah.
What would happen if he got the UCLA job? I haven't seen anything yet this morning.
Well, the good news is he can't take Shedeur Sanders with him.
Well, no, he can't take Shedeur Sanders.
He can have Dylan Gabriel now. Dylan can have a 12th year of college as far as I'm concerned. He needs it.
Daryl, come on. Now, where does this... Oh, by the way, you were in the stadium yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, because I have to ask you a question. I watched on TV, and I heard two broadcasts bring it up, radio and TV.
Okay.
Where Dylan entered the game, there was booing going on.
Yep, there was.
Do you believe that the fans were booing Dylan Gabriel, or somebody claimed that they showed a replay on the state. What do we have audio here, Owen?
Here is the Browns radio network.
All right.
They tried to run the play that Dylan Gabriel hit to Harold Finn, where you fake the bubble screen and then you hit kind of that seam route there, but it was not open. And here comes Dylan Gabriel.
To some booze.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody said that they showed a replay of Shedeur going down. They thought it was a late hit and that people were booing that.
I did not look at the scoreboard in that moment because I was focused on strictly Shedeur on the field, being down, being looked at by medical personnel, and then ultimately walking off the field. So I was not paying any attention to the scoreboard.
No.
But I did hear obviously when Shedeur started walking off the field with trainers, you knew Dylan was coming in, and I did hear the booing. And it was one play, and Shedeur came back in, and there was the cheering and whatnot. So I'm not going to speak for Browns fans. Just being in the press box, observing the situation, it did feel like they were booing Dylan Gabriel. It did.
Yeah, they paid their money.
Why,
Pro football,
though?
they're allowed to.
It wasn't even a full house yesterday, man. I mean, there were plenty of good seats available in the upper deck. It felt like obviously the 49ers have a tremendous following. The DeBartolo family ties to Youngstown, Ohio, and the old headquarters out there. And when the 49ers win Super Bowls, they'd bring the trophies over there. I remember as a kid going over and seeing them. And my dad would joke with me, "Hey, that's a Vince Lombardi trophy. You'll never see one of those in Cleveland." But there were a lot of 49er fans in the stadium, but it was pretty empty. I was a little surprised. I understood the weather was, forecast wasn't great, nasty weather all weekend, but it was Shedeur's debut. So I thought people would pack the place for Shedeur's home starting debut, but yeah, it was pretty empty, and I think we should probably get used to that here going down the stretch.
I'm chuckling at Lima because Lima's like, why, though? I go, because they want to be entertained. Dylan Gabriel ain't entertaining to them.
Right. It's boring.
They want to see Shedeur Sanders out there. He's at least entertaining. At least he provides some hope or something exciting to talk about.
Does it surprise you that excitement, that hope is 45 out of 45 eligible quarterbacks this year in EPA per plays, dead last in the NFL? Worse than Dylan Gabriel, worse than J.J. McCarthy.
No. Here's where the hope is with him, is that he actually will throw the ball down the field and they can do something fun in the explosive play game. He's still raw. You can see that. Again, the ball needs to come out faster. He needs to get through the progressions faster. I do like the fact that he's not retreating from the line of scrimmage like we saw him do at Colorado. I like the fact that he's stepping up in the pocket. I like him moving to his left and moving to his right to try and create some spacing in some throwing lanes. Like, all that, in my view, is positive, but has he been great? No, not by any stretch of the imagination, Anthony. But I can see pieces and parts in his game. I don't see anything in Dylan Gabriel's game. I see nothing in his game. Whereas, at least with Shedeur, I'm like, okay, I like that. I like that. I like that. It ain't great, but it's better than what they have been trotting out there. So I understand the metrics you're pointing out, but I don't think going back to Dylan Gabriel all of a sudden increases their ability to score points or win football games.
What's going on with Wyatt Teller?
Yeah, the real interesting situation, with the rotation yesterday. He said in the locker room after the game that he was aware there would be a rotation and that they weren't feeling like he was playing well enough, which was a little bit of a surprise to me to hear that. Because I think Wyatt Teller's a really good football player. So I can't speak to what the Browns are expecting from him. And also I think there's a part of it too. His contract's up. Pretty much the entire offensive line's contract's up this offseason. That's going to be a completely rebuilt unit. Ethan Posick went down yesterday, and Luke Whippler ended up going in there, and it wasn't great. But,
I expected Luke Whippler at some point.
But that's where we're at now, Ken. Season's flush. They've lost 9 games, 22nd losing season since this team's been back. It's what they do best. And now we're going to be looking at even younger players, I think, getting slotted in on that offensive line for them to take a look to see if there's something there. Because, again, if they're not happy with what they're seeing from Wyatt Teller, I don't think I'm out of pocket by saying odds are he's not going to be back next year, right? Joel Bitonio is probably going to retire. Why would he want to come back to this next year? I was surprised he came back this year, quite frankly, but I respect Joel because he, had a year left on his contract, and he's a man of his word, and I think he wanted to fulfill that contract, and he's done that, but I can't see him coming back. The tackle situation is a complete disaster. Jack Conklin got banged up again yesterday. What else is new? It's unfortunate, but that's just the reality of that situation. So the entire offensive line has to get rebuilt next offseason. The entire wide receiver room needs to be rebuilt next offseason. The quarterback room needs another overhaul next season, right? Tight ends probably could use, another player in that mix. But yeah, I mean, this whole offense basically needs a extreme makeover. All
right, Daryl. Thank you for your time.
I'm sorry, Ken. Real salty morning. I feel bad. Ohio State won, though.
Yeah, I didn't go to Ohio State. I went to Akron.
I know, but, a lot of people that listen to us did or root for the team. So,
and now I'm happy that they won. I'm happier that they won than they lost. I would have been shocked if they would have lost, but yeah, I don't know.
Listen, I'm just doing my best to end on a positive note here for you.
Well, it ain't going to work, not with me, buddy. All right,
what about
Daryl.
Lima? Lima's awful quiet this morning.
You got anything?
No, I was having fun on Saturday.
Okay. Anything else? Oh, Daryl's gone.
Daryl's gone.
No, I'm just waiting for you guys to sort it out.
All right, Daryl, thank you very much for the time. All the best.
You bet, boys. Talk to you on Friday.
Daryl's brought to you by Scheib & Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Coming up next, is it really too late to let anybody go, or are we just going to satiate the bloodlust here? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work in the free Odyssey app.
It's Anthony Lima 4.
92.3 The Fan and see if our hosts make your reaction a part of our shows. Powered by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Whenever you need to talk about the Browns, we got you covered. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Time waits for no man. It's got to be urgent with everyone. It's not just, the older guys who've been through it. The young guys got to understand, this goes by quick. Little did I know I'd be here, 9 years in, talking to you all. So, don't take any time for granted. We got to win now.
Miles and Wadsworth. We should just play his clips from the hotline, the coming in hotline. Time waits for no man. I never would have thought I'd be sitting here in 1999, 27 years later, thinking, I don't know if it's going to get any better. He sounds like every Browns fan out there, just makes a lot more money than most. Here you go. Time waits for no man. I remember the calls we used to get when this show started, and the calls I used to get at night. And I'd get it from 60-something-year-old men. And I'd be like, nah. And those guys are in their mid-70s now. I'll be turning 40 next year, and oh boy, the chickens have certainly come home to roost. Here we are. There it goes. Is it too late to fire anybody? Honestly, it's just making the fans happy. Is that enough?
Yeah, people always say...
Because you're only going to be happy for a day.
People always say... what was the kid's name that jumped offsides? That didn't,
Cam Thomas.
Yeah, that didn't give us another chance.
Cam Thomas.
When I said, well, that's easy, just cut him. Your defensive line is going to be fine. This is just another guy in that defensive line. He's been good, but whatever.
Now you actually need him because the guy's getting hurt. The guy's getting hurt.
Yeah, it's actually true. But I said, well, it's about accountability, and if guys don't think this is serious or guys don't think that jobs could be on the line, then what kind of locker room are you running? What kind of an organization is it? And we've gone over this all year. The Browns don't cut anybody. They don't bench anybody. They don't fire anybody. And because of that, we have had this looming question of accountability. It's one thing for Kevin Stefanski to say, it's on me, I got to coach it better. But nobody actually believes any of that. And there doesn't seem to be any consequences for anybody involved within the entire organization. We don't ever hear of anybody being shown the door when I see it all the time around the NFL. Happens all the time. We just don't talk about it when it happens in places like Detroit or whatever. But, those guys are, losing their minds by the scenes. That's not to say that our guys aren't, but it always has to come attached with something. There have to be some stakes. And there were games earlier in the year where I came on here and said, yeah, fire Bubba Ventrone. It's easy. It's easy. It's an easy thing to do. What, you're telling me nobody else can coach special teams in that building? You can't get an outside look at things? Maybe you hire a consultant or bring somebody in. Think about last year, what they did when Mike Vrabel, who was the consultant, and he said he wasn't really going to be there all that much. Next thing you know, he's coaching the offensive line. You can change things, over the course of the year, and you have money. Mm-hmm. It's not like the Haslams aren't willing to spend to make something happen. So when they don't get rid of Bubba Ventrone and they don't bench, cut, or fire anybody throughout the whole year, now we're left to do what? Because the season's over.
Well, you get mad at the people ahead of them. You get mad at the decisions. If they were to let go of Bubba Ventrone, today, say they decided today, hey, it's too much, we're letting go of Bubba Ventrone. My first thought would be, wait a minute, why didn't you go back in November when we could have made a change here, when a difference could have been made? Guys, had special teams not have been 4th and 1 notwithstanding, even then, had special teams not been bad, you just shot yourself in the foot repeatedly on special teams. And Nathan was right. Nathan had a meltdown on the air and said if special teams were even passable to some level, we'd still be in some sort of a hunt here. Look at the AFC North. They're chanting for Tomlin's job yesterday. The Ravens aren't that good. The Bengals are 4-8, and they're trying to make they're 2 games out of the lead right now. If you had even passable special teams, Nathan is 100% right.
I hate to say it, and I hate to say it as bluntly as this, but this is the fact of the matter. This Browns team would be in a significantly different position this season if special teams were just average. I'm not asking for exceptional. I'm saying just average. The fact is this special teams unit has been such a blemish. It's been an anchor, an albatross around the neck of the Cleveland Browns. Huge play after huge play. That's 3 of them in this game. 3 huge plays. Give up a big punt return. You step out of bounds. That's a 34-yard. I'm pretty sure the punt return you said was 66. That's 100 yards that you gave up on those 2 plays, and now you just fumble a punt here. Special teams just been absolutely dreadful, and something's got to change there. Something has got to change with the way that the Browns are going about business on special teams because it is undermining what has been a championship defense this season.
Yeah, Nathan's totally right. If they were to can the guy today, I'd go, why didn't you do it a month ago then? Why didn't you do it when you actually had a chance to change anything? It's out of reach now. You're 3-9. And that is a pessimistic way to look at things. It is, in so many ways, it's apathy starting to set in, but that's where you're at. It's like, now I think the season's just playing out the rest of the year against Kevin. Because everything you don't do, well, you went for it on 4th down and you missed. Why did you miss? Well, you had guys running in on the play when you were still coming out of the huddle. Okay, so we got guys running in and we don't know where to line up. We're still going to call the play. We're not going to call a timeout. Then Harold Fannin fumbles the snap. So that makes it look even worse. And then you have this special team situation. I go, you look completely ineffectual as a coaching staff now. So I don't trust you on anything you decide. So when it comes to, well, Wyatt Teller ain't playing so good. Well, is Wyatt Teller not playing so good, or do you guys actually just not know what you're doing? Like, it starts to lead to dissension throughout. And that does start at the beginning. So then if you were to let go of him now, I just go, why didn't you do it before when you had a chance to make any change before the huge embarrassing failure tone that was the Jets game? Why didn't you do it? Because the NFL is showing you this year, it does. You don't need a super team to make the playoffs this year. This is as much of just, hey, let's play some passable football as you could get to look probably better than what you are.
But do you wonder, because I keep saying, well, what does it mean now to fire a special teams coach? Do you wonder when it comes to damn near 1,000 staffers, when you think about their scouts and pro personnel and their analytics cabal, as big as that is, when you think about everybody that's employed by the Browns, the messaging that keeps coming out, I presume, from Jimmy Haslam, even after DePodesta left, was that everybody's returning. And if everybody just thinks they're returning, see, what happens is once either Kevin Stefanski is fired, if that happens, or Andrew Berry is either reassigned, elevated, or just gone, then everybody starts sweating because they don't know if they're going to be here. Right now, if everybody just thinks they're coming back, is it just status quo in that building?
You know what? If you're the type of people that I need to hold your feet to the fire to get good work out of you, then I don't want you anywhere. You should hold yourself to a high standard. Okay? How about you hold yourself to a decent enough standard here? I shouldn't have to threaten firing everybody just for you. Now we're really going to pay attention. Oh, you're really going to pay attention now? That means you're not cut out for the job anyway. If all you're willing to do is just enough at competitive businesses, okay? If all you're willing to do is just enough so your boss doesn't yell at you, you ain't going to make it.
But are they able to identify those guys? I don't know, because again, they don't get rid of anybody. So if nobody's ever feeling the heat, I get it. Everybody just wants to roll their eyes and say, you just want a pound of flesh. No, I want them to operate like other NFL teams that are bad. Bad teams, even good teams, they do get rid of guys. This team doesn't do any of that.
But when I say that...
And the worst over the last 2 years are one of the worst teams in football. But you'd never know it. You'd never know it by listening to the reports that come out, listening to how stable everything is, how everybody's on the same page, and the ownership wants everybody to come back and return.
I have an answer to that when we come back. Give me 5 minutes. I want to answer that when we come back. And you know what? I disagree with Anthony, but my long-term plan hasn't changed. Ken Carman, Tone Master General, live to 92.3 The Fan and on the free Odyssey app and free on YouTube Live. Take us with you to work.
Anthony Lima for QC Kinetics, where you want to make sure you head into the holidays and the new year feeling better.
from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline Sports News every 20 minutes on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
When you want the latest on the Cavs, we're the station you turn to first. 92.3 The Fan is Cleveland's home for breaking sports news. Your teams, your station.
Coming up in 20 minutes, they need each other more than you think. Need not to save anything this season. This season's already a wash. Are we on watch of Bubba Ventrone right now?
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. So you had brought up, I had to answer you because you had said, what a shot across the bow can do. And my approach to that is much more fatalistic than what a lot of people think. Like, I got a lot of people who are agreeing with you, and I don't even think that you're wrong. I think that we've already seen what the staff is or what they are now, and I don't think that anything's going to change. In fact, I would probably feel even worse about the staff than I would, because let me ask you, because you brought this up. You go, well, a shot across the bow. If somebody gets let go, we hold people accountable here. The time to hold people accountable was years ago. Now to hold people accountable now, that's not going to get much. And second of all, like Cleveland Pound brings up, like, hey, he agrees with you. Change can fire up a team. He says we're stagnant. Yeah, you're pretty stagnant right now. But if they were to let go of Bubba Ventrone, say like, hey, you know what? This isn't acceptable. We got to let this guy go. And then all of a sudden I see those many guys that much more lasered in. I go, I don't even know if I can trust any of you. I mean, this is supposed to be a competitive business. This is supposed to be, there's winners and there's losers. And if you are one of the losers that week, you're doing everything you possibly can to become one of those winners. And if you're not doing everything you possibly can, which is what you're paid handsomely to do, I'm going to find other people who are willing to pay the price to be better. Because if all of a sudden, hey, we've let go of Bubba Ventrone and everybody just starts working their asses to the bone, well, wait a minute, where were you guys at the beginning of the year when we actually had hope? Well, I can't say hope, but at least there was some like, okay, maybe we can roll it. Maybe we can do this. Where was any of that? So I got to tell you, Tone, I disagree with you. I wouldn't even trust them even more. If all of a sudden I think this is who they are. I think this is who they are. It's a not great roster. It's not great a setup. It's not a great situation for any young quarterback to be in, whether it be Shedeur Sanders, whether it be Cam Ward, doesn't matter. It's not a great situation at all. And I think it's led to this moment of where, what do you do in January? Do you move on? More than likely you move on, because it seems that it's untenable and nobody wants to be in the situation anymore. And that's probably what's going to happen. And I'll have to bring out the list and we'll have to go over candidates and do all that thing all over again. But if they were to go, and I would have totally agreed with you if it were at the beginning of the year or a place where it could have been salvageable. Because then maybe say they got rid of Bubba Ventrone and the work was still the same, but the results were different. Process was still the same, but the results were different. That means I'm wrong in what I'm thinking now, but now it's too late. So you can work as hard as you want, but you're 3-9. And if you guys want to work really that hard, and if I don't believe you were working hard before, and it's just something that I think that they are working hard. I just don't think the situation is a good situation. But if you ended up being right about that, then I would go, then what are you guys even here for in the beginning? Like, there's a lot of evaluation that needs to go on right now. What's right for everybody involved? What's right for Kevin? What's right for us? What's right? Is it simple as a clean slate needs to be had between the two? Like, these are things that go on. But your time to hold people accountable was back then. Now you're 3-9. All I'm doing is wasting my time and feeling like, yeah, it's going to make you guys feel better. It's not an argument for people to keep their jobs. I can't argue for them to keep their jobs. I've lost count of their records. Somebody corrected me and said they're 6-25 over the last couple of years. Jeez. Yeah, I forgot. That's even worse, guys. It's even worse. They're 6-25 over the last couple of years. I can't argue for 6-25 in professional football. Make no mistake, there is no defense I can really give. There is none. So yeah, you would probably have to make a move. But I'm only going to feel good about it if I'm just a fan. I'm only going to feel good about it until tomorrow. Do I really think they have that much better of a chance to beat Tennessee? Maybe. And if they do, you'll just be 4-9.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. We have a team to compare him to. I mean, the Giants. Giants fired their coach this year. So technically, they got a massive head start, if you believe in that kind of thing, on getting the next guy. But, that was hey, we're putting everybody on notice move when they have an exciting rookie quarterback, an exciting rookie running back that went down with an injury. And, Abdul Carter, I guess his pass rush win rate is really good this year, but, there's no production there and he's falling asleep in meetings. But
he's denied that.
But they want accountability. So we'll have a team to compare it to. We'll see which team ends up getting it right.
What'd you think of Shedeur?
I thought honestly, the stuff I did want to give him credit for one thing, because there was a lot of conversation from the reporting and from the leaks and everything, from the interviews with him to why he fell, and then him being buried fourth string on the depth chart for as long as he was, that, oh my God, when he comes onto the field, it's going to be a mess. He is not going to get guys lined up. He's not going to get the play calls. He's not going to have a mastery of the play sheet. None of that has been true. You could make the argument the Jerry Jeudy, what did he get? He left too soon. I saw a lot of people say that's actually on the quarterback. You have to wait. You have to wait till he's set and then the quarterback. But whatever.
That's true.
But it is not. It is not in any way been anything close to that. Shedeur's looked like any normal quarterback that has his bearings on all the small things. So the Browns might have been way off on that, well, unless you want to just give the Browns credit for getting him ready for that. But I think you give him the credit for that. As far as the play, I told you, I don't think it's looked all that different other than 3 total throws down the field. I don't really think it's looked all that different from the other bad quarterback play they've had this year. It's been a little different. Like, the way it's looked bad has been different for each guy. Like, Dylan Gabriel couldn't even throw the screen passes correctly. Joe Flacco, just for whatever reason, wasn't going down the field, which is what he had been known for, and then picked right up where he left off in Cincinnati from where he was 2 years ago in Cleveland, who was launching the ball down the field. It's been bad in different ways for all 3 quarterbacks. Shedeur, you could just tell. He doesn't know when to take off and run. There's no anticipatory throws. Basically, he has to almost leave the pocket and then guys be wide open. And that's just not sustainable. That's not real NFL quarterback play. With that said, I'd rather see him than Dylan Gabriel.
Okay, so I guess we are in agreement on some things. Like, he hasn't... My bar is obscenely comically low. I don't think he has much rapport with his wide receivers. I think that I do think an offseason and some time would do that. I just don't believe they all have time together. Yeah. Because what I do believe is that when they probably do let go of Kevin Stefanski at the end of this year, I believe new people will come in and they will probably move on. And they will draft a quarterback in the first round next year. And we're going to have to get that settled and figured out, and we'll have 4 months to do so. And there's going to be a lot of people who are upset because I think they're going to move away from Shedeur Sanders. And so I hope that he gets this opportunity here over the next 5 games to change that opinion. But each week, I have to evaluate my thoughts on the future because I think there's a difference in how he plays every week to what I want to do with the future. And there's not much that I can go on and say he's changed my ideas for the future. I think that a lot of people, when they're saying, let's just do this, this, and this, I think they're just afraid to take a quarterback instead of they that much love Shedeur. Now, there are people who are Shedeur fans who love Shedeur that much, but most of those people just want him out of here. And I think those people are going to get their wish. But I think that a lot of the Browns fans are going to go, as of right now, if you really believe their plans need to be different, well, then I think we're probably just afraid to take a quarterback because we've heard bad things about the class, or really the class hasn't lived up to the hype of what we thought it was going to be at the beginning of the year. Well, you're going to have a chance to change that. And yes, you are walking through a minefield now more than ever. Based on quarterbacks, you're walking through a minefield. This is what a lot of teams have to deal with. There's a lot of shoddy quarterback play out there. There's a lot. And I really hope he would be able to prove that wrong. But my plans are you go with the quarterback until the quarterback you have changes those plans. And so far, he hasn't been able to change those plans. It's only been 2 games. I got 5 to go. He may be able to do that. But so many people think Kevin Stefanski shouldn't be the head coach for him. So many people are confusing who's actually calling the plays right now. Tommy Rees is calling the plays. And to be honest with you, I like the game plan. Nobody helps each other. Shedeur Sanders doesn't have the experience to help younger or not so good wide receivers. The wide receivers who they do have aren't good enough or experienced enough. If they are experienced enough, they ain't good enough to help out my young and experienced quarterback. My offensive line is in tatters. I got Tevin Jenkins working in over at right guard. I got KT Levison over there at right tackle. We're hoping that Cam Robinson is healthy week to week to go play at left tackle. And I want to stand a guy who the big knock on him was standing and holding with the ball too long and not wanting to throw the ball, get rid of the ball quickly enough. And I'm going to have him do that behind that offensive line. None of it helps each other. So to just get rid of the head coach ain't going to help my situation very much at all. I thought that it was a pretty good game plan of what they came out with. They're just not built to play with a deficit. And what's so maddening is that your defense played well enough to keep you from playing with a real deficit. Your special teams was terrible. The execution on the 4.5 yard was an abomination of the sport. That's what's so upsetting.
Well, I would just say this. The one thing that I think has been common for all the Browns quarterbacks this year, the minute the Browns were losing in this game, I felt like they had no chance. I just felt like all the issues you just mentioned, not all on Shedeur. Trust me when I tell you, it was not all on Shedeur. I just had lost all faith completely because, on the other side, Brock Purdy, for all the struggles he had early in that game, and people are like showing their similar stats, degree of difficulty, not even close. Like Purdy, 11 of 16 on third down. They were converting big plays. He was heavily under duress. Shedeur was not under duress most of the game. I mean, he had the most time to throw in the NFL of all the quarterbacks last week, according to Next Gen Stats. So he had time to throw, and eventually even bad receivers get open in that situation. I just felt like Shedeur, he's just not anticipating, and he's kind of afraid. Does it seem to you like a little gun shy throwing that ball over the middle down the field? Like almost like some people said he doesn't want interceptions. I mean, no quarterback wants interceptions, but sometimes you got to throw the football. And I think everybody's clowning him on the fourth down where he just ran it instead of throwing the football on fourth and forever. But you would like to see him, take more chances, especially in this evaluation period. I don't care. I'm not killing him for interceptions the way that you would think I would. I'm just not. They got to evaluate these quarterbacks, and just throwing 30 screen passes a game.
I think
anybody can do that.
See, I think
except
that they
Dylan
have.
Gabriel, apparently.
I think that they have beat it into him so much that you cannot turn the ball over. Do not turn the ball over. Do not turn the ball over. Because that's the thing. I mean, turnovers have murdered this team over the last couple of years. I think they've pounded into his head and Dylan Gabriel's head, for that matter. You cannot turn the ball over. If you turn the ball over, you're going to set us up for massive failure. And I think that plays into the game. I see a guy who is actively, and this is why I had a bad feeling about all this, but you want to see him because the season's gone to hell, is I see a guy who's actively getting better to get rid of bad habits, getting rid of the old things that he used to do. I just don't know if he's going to have enough time to get there to where he needs to be and where this team needs to be. 216-474-0092. I want to get to you guys on this. What did you guys think of Shedeur? And they need each other. Whether you believe it or not, they need each other on The Fan.
This is the story of the one.
13. The team is back in action tonight to face the Pacers. Want to catch highlights from the Fan from throughout the day? Get over to 923thefan.com or favorite the Fan on the Odyssey app for all of today's headline segments. Headline sports news every 20 minutes on 923 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
Let's get to you guys on this. Because it's all bad. I don't know where it starts. I don't know where it gets good. What's the good on Sunday? What happened that was good?
Schlesinger. He had a play.
Okay.
I'm telling you, the 49ers, you can always tell when a team has like a play that they've been saving. You know, the Mark Andrews 4th down play against us. They probably didn't want to use that in the regular season. That was probably one you like to save for the playoffs, or maybe you show a different look. But the 49ers had a big-time play that they needed, and they did that shovel pass to Christian McCaffrey. And already on the ground, Schlesinger somehow made that stop. I'm like, that is all pro material. And they basically had him mirror McCaffrey the entire game, and McCaffrey was shaking his head the entire game. You could tell. It was tough sledding out there for McCaffrey with Schlesinger hovering. So that's a good. I'll say that's definitely good.
Okay, we got that.
Miles got another sack.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
I'll tell you, Brock Purdy denied Miles another 2 sacks. He somehow off his back foot got rid of 2 balls with guys draped all over him, and Miles was feeling. You can even tell Miles gave him a look a couple times, like kind of like Miles seems like even when he's sacking you, he's having some fun with you.
Where's he at now? That's his 19th sack?
Correct.
Sorry, I was looking up the stats.
He had 25 written on his wrist on the tape. That is his goal, 25 sacks this year, which would be a record by a few.
I don't blame him for wanting his own personal glory there.
4 more to the record.
There was one bad, I thought.
What?
And I think he's been great.
Wait a minute, there's bad?
There's
we
one
said we're naming the good.
No, well, maybe.
We're naming the good.
Okay, good. Tyson Campbell's been amazing since they took him. But the bad, they finally taught him one of those synchronized dance moves. Him and Denzel and the rest of the guys in the secondary. And then after that, he got torched a couple times. So, went back to Newsome land there for a little bit.
I didn't know about that. He was dancing?
He did, yeah. Yeah, he had a couple nice coverages, and then on the one, they did their breakout.
Well, you want him to be a part of the team, I guess. I don't know. Well, all right, Larry in Twinsburg. Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Hi, Larry.
Hey, I just like to say, there ain't no difference between Dylan or Shador. The team is poorly coached. Shador is not your future. If they keep him and Kevin, it's going to be another losing season for years to come.
Well, the only issue I could see of it, and NFL teams do this all the time, Larry, and thank you for the call. And I don't care for this because I feel if you're going to make a break, you make a clean break, and that's the way it goes. Is that they leave guys in. Now, you kind of had your year this last year, but you weren't taking a guy in the first round. But teams love to, and I think I know why, but I'm not fully sure about it. They love to keep a guy an extra year and then bring in a rookie. And they love to pair that rookie the first year, and then they fire that coach halfway there. The Browns did this with Hugh Jackson. They fire that coach halfway through the year, and then it's like, well, why did you waste that year? We just did that with Caleb Williams over in Chicago with Matt Eberflus and now with Ben Johnson. And I wonder if it's still to like, okay, you know you have a quarterback there. They just did it with Jackson Dart and with Brian Dable. You believe you have a quarterback there. At least you know if a guy can play at a high level in an NFL uniform, it makes the job that much more attractive. Like rookies still, guys who are in college right now, we still don't know Fernando Mendoza is going to be good in the NFL. We still don't know Dante Moore, Ty Simpson are going to be good in the NFL. Like that's the only other thought I would have. That when you start talking about the agents, but that goes down a crazy road altogether. Like that's the only other thought I would have to that. Because if you were to keep him and then let him make a decision based on the quarterback, I wouldn't feel any better. We had a call about that earlier. And I'm thinking, what's your level of trust? What's your level of trust with him? If you don't believe your level of trust is that high, then you've already made your decision for the future. And again, I still look back and I thought, this is my issue. is you have a guy who's actively trying to work out the problems of previous bad habits. And I think that the people who want to line up and say, let Shedeur cook, I don't think that those people know football whatsoever, and I don't think those people should have any say-so in anything that the Browns actually do. If I were to say, just let Shedeur cook, I don't think I should have any influence on anything the Browns should do. I thought the game plan coming out yesterday was a good game plan to help take care of him, work on his stuff, let him get things taken care of, and work forward with it. And I thought it was a good game plan. They just can't play from behind with that game plan. That's all there is to it. There's some things there that I like, but you can tell with how they do it that there is a project that they are seeing here. And I just don't think that he's going to have the time to be able to do all this because you only have 5 games after this. So now, where does my franchise go? We're back in Messiah land where we need a guy to lead us. And I don't know if they're going to have enough time, and I don't know if he even wants to do something like that. So you're in a real bad spot as the Cleveland Browns. So where do I go? That's why I keep telling people, like, guys, I know you can't stand the coach. And I know the other part of you guys think that we are just wasting our time talking about Shedeur Sanders, but they need each other in so many ways, at least for the next 5 games. Because if they were to get rid of everybody, and you think that just having him stand back there and shotgun with this group of collection of wide receivers and this group of targets with that offensive line,
but you know what I mean?
Against the NFL is going to do him any good. I got to vehemently disagree.
But what are you evaluating if it's just going to be screen game underneath? Teams will give that up. Like what? How are you evaluating him?
Still
on
not much.
Whether or not you're doing something in the draft?
No, I'm not. See, he's got to do things that make me change. But my things that I need him to do, I don't know if he's going to have enough time. I just want to see him conduct an offense. I know he's got arm talent. I know that he has accuracy. I know he has those things. But if he can't conduct an offense, then what are we doing?
Now, there was one play down the field. He did take his shot where he did not have the accuracy. It was into the wind. It was a crazy side of the stadium.
Trent Green said, if you have any tail of that ball, it's going to take it. So Trent Green said, I'm going to agree with Trent Green.
Here is the actual call on the Browns radio network.
Quinshon is the back to the left of Shedeur. 3 receivers to the wide side right. Shotgun 3rd and 4. Got to get to the 37. Niners bring pressure. Browns pick it up. Has time. Throws deep. Has Judy, and he overthrew him at the Niners 40. 4th down.
Oh, baby. The Browns did such a good job picking the blitz up. Jerry Jeudy was in the middle of the field, saw the play break down, took up off the field. He had 5 yards clear of the closest defender for the Niners, Jair Brown, and just overshot him. That could have been 6.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the Isaiah Bond play, where it just became a jump ball. That was the one early to Jerry Jeudy.
No, not the duck. Yeah, this was but still that same side of the field, right? So that, which was curious to me, why the 49ers won the toss and took the ball, right? Why didn't it didn't end up mattering because the game turned out to be a blowout in the 4th quarter? Why would we have wanted to go into that end in the 4th quarter? Why? That was weird. I don't know. Clearly there was a difference in did the winds change during the game? Anyway, so that one was curious to me. I texted a few people and no one really had an answer. So, and it didn't end up mattering. But that was kind of annoying.
I'm surprised they didn't grow the grass longer to stop Christian McCaffrey. Where's you and Keith on that one?
Now, the weather actually, it turned out it wasn't as much of a factor at the Michigan game as I thought it could be. And nor was it like in terms it didn't rain or snow yesterday for the Browns game.
It was a factor in Brutus doing the script.
Yeah, the snow came late. Yeah, the snow came late. But I wanted to ask you, Ken.
What?
I see the Shedeur people have targeted now. They're on to Jerry Jeudy as the guy that's making things really hard for Shedeur. They thought he dogged it on that play. Did you want him to do a pirouette and then lay out backwards? Because the ball was on the other shoulder. Like, how are you laying out for that ball? I don't think people realize how off target that throw was.
It wasn't
and
a great throw.
I didn't kill him for it because, again, the wind.
You didn't, but I still think he's a pretty accurate quarterback, and I think he's got enough arm to do what he needs to do. I think he's better than Dylan Gabriel, which isn't really saying much. My whole issue of it, getting back to it, is that I don't know if there's going to be enough time. I don't think there's going to be enough time to really change anybody's plans for everybody involved. I mean, it's going to have to be gangbusters really quick, and I don't know if he's that guy that can just raise everybody to have a incredible offense in the amount of time that they needed. Again, there's so much there that's against him. And there's really so much against the Browns. And so you see them trying to work out situations, and if we're still trying to work out situations, we're not going forward. Well, then you start to figure out why some of the teams in the NFL are uncomfortable. 216-474-0092. Vincent, listening on the free Odyssey app in Virginia. You're next up on the Fan.
Hey, guys. How you doing? Basically, I don't think Shador's problem. It's not Shador Gabriel thing. It's the play calling. Anybody who thinks Kevin Stefanski is a good coach is delusional.
Well, Kevin wasn't calling plays yesterday. It was Tommy Rees.
Why did he say the Fanning call? He messed that up. He
can over. Well, wait a minute. Situational football, he can do it. But if we're talking about 1/4 and a half there.
But what I'm saying, we have the number 2 defense in the league. Why would you go 4th and 2 in a 4th and inches on your 32 in a 10-8 game? Why would
you could have punted it. I wanted to go for it, but then when we got people running around and we're not prepared to do it, I might as well just punt it and punted it out of there.
It was a stupid call. And after that play, the game went to hell. Did it not?
Well, of course it did.
You had the 49ers score 3 touchdowns on 66 total yards in the game. 66 total yards.
I understand. I totally understand that. I'm with you on that. But where does the Shador factor play into that part of it?
Basically, the Browns limit all their quarterbacks. If you look at the best play the Browns had, yes, Shador missed Jerry Jeudy on the deep ball. I give you that.
Mm-hmm.
But the pass to Fanning when he scored the touchdown, if you look at the play, Jeudy was on the outside. He went across the field to take 2 defenders with him. Fanning swung around on a wheel play and was wide open.
So that was a play call you did like?
I love that play. And that's the kind of stuff you should be doing. You should not be screaming.
So we should just run the plays that work and not run the plays that don't work?
Well, the running game was great, I thought. The passing game is horrible. Plus, you got to realize you have a offensive line that's probably one of the worst offensive lines blocking in the league. So quick slants, some screens, not all screens, some deep passes. And then I'm tired of us playing like we're playing for the division. We're 3-8. We're not going nowhere. Let the players play.
That's why they were rotating Wyatt Teller out of there.
Oh, God.
And that's the other thing. Why are you going to get Wyatt your 3 best linemen, Coughlin, Batonio, and Wild, and Teller, you like switching them like they're rookies. He's a poor coach. The team is just going nowhere. And Jerry Jeudy, get rid of that brat. He's an overpaid $40 million guaranteed brat.
Well, that's an Andrew Berry situation.
Well, he wouldn't be a third-tier receiver. That's why all he would be on teams. Go back and look at the Steve Smith account of who he thinks Jerry Jeudy is back on the NFL Network. That's Jerry Jeudy. Somebody needs to give him that Michael Jackson Man in the Mirror song, and he needs to look at the man in the mirror. He is the problem. He's a cancer on this team. You can't get rid of him because you got a $40 million guaranteed contract.
Vincent, is it bad? 1 year. Is it bad that I got so much brain fog right now? You said the man in the mirror, and I was thinking of Rockwell. Someone's following me.
No,
someone's watching me.
No, Michael Jackson.
I know, but I got him confused. I somehow got Rockwell and Michael. Well, I think Rockwell was trying to sound like Michael Jackson in so many ways.
I was thinking of Me, Myself, and I, De La Soul.
Vincent, thank you for the call. Thank you for the call.
It was Michael Jackson.
He's saying
uncredited.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
We can talk about that in the break.
We should talk about that in the break. I got to get that figured out before we come back.
Since we can't play actual music anymore.
No, we can't.
I'll hum a few bars.
Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on the Fan.
Anthony Lima for Fanatic Sports.
at legacybox.com/value to take 65% off. Buy your Legacy Box today and send in when you're ready. legacybox.com/value.
Miss one day and you miss a lot. We are the radio home of the Cleveland Browns.
Here we go, Brownies! Here we go!
92.3 The Fan.
Can I tell you about the most pointless insider report ever? It was the Billy likes to drink soda of insider reports. I said it's pointless, and I compared it to Billy Madison. Not to take any shots at Adam Schefter. But hey, the Browns, they're going to keep an open mind. Maybe he can change their mind for the future. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Does that need to be a report? Is that not just common sense?
Yeah, I read that, and I'm like, why did this even get tweeted?
We're the most hard-up football team probably in history for a quarterback. As hard up as it can get. How on earth would we not be open-minded to seeing him play? How on earth? Guy has that big of a fan base, sells that many jerseys, has that famous of a family, has had that famous of a background, has raised the level of play with the two programs that he played for in college. We were just going to play out the string? That needed to be said? I'm serious. I hope it didn't need to be said. Like, Adam Schefter's a very powerful man. He might be able to say, Kenny, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And here, let me tell you. And I'd go, oh, my God, you're right. You're not wrong. This wasn't common sense. I'd feel terrible if that wasn't common sense. They're going to keep an open mind for the future. They damn well better keep an open mind for the future. That was before yesterday's game. I go, yeah, all the next 5 games after this one. That's what he should get. I was sick. When he went down, when he got hit and he went down, I was sick. I was sick. Because one, at the end of it, and this is a terrible way to look at it, at the end of it, at least I'm entertained. Am I not entertained? At least I have some entertainment.
Now let me ask you
I can
this.
look at it the same way a lot of people do and just protect my feelings.
I'm going to ask you an uncomfortable question.
Go ahead and be uncomfortable about it.
If his last name was anything but Sanders and his dad was anybody else, would you be entertained by Shedeur Sanders?
Yeah.
45th out of 45th qualified quarterbacks this year.
If you're talking about it, no.
Would you be honestly?
Because he wouldn't have this much cachet.
Well, he wouldn't have a fan base if it was a 5th round pick.
But that's what I'm saying. We said
else?
there have been a succession of people who have bought into some wild theories, both for and against Shedeur Sanders. If his last name, if he was Shedeur Smith, no, there wouldn't be this type of rhetoric surrounding him. There wouldn't be a line of people who are just trying to get their YouTube numbers up saying that he's secretly a terrible quarterback and a bad teammate and all that other stuff. There wouldn't be another conga line of people out there trying to get their YouTube numbers up saying a bunch of different things about how the Browns are terrible and they're just trying to put the screws to the kid. And no, that's not what it is. So you're right about that. But if he were to be Shedeur Smith and had that type of play, I'd be open-minded, but I wouldn't be as thoughtful as I am about it. My thought was when I thought he got hurt, because I go, oh, man, he's down. This sucks. And when he got hurt, I go, I'm not going to be able to give him a fair shake.
Right.
I thought because if he
was
were
awkward.
If he were to go down, I'm willing to give him the next 5 games, and I hope that things change. I don't think they're going to change that much, and we're probably going to take, in my eyes, we have to take a quarterback in the first round next year. But I was going, man, we're not going to be able to give him a fair shot, and we just got to move on. This sucks.
It's amazing, by the way. And this isn't just Shedeur. It's a bunch of guys that have no idea how to slide, which is crazy considering who his dad was, and he played Major League Baseball. So that didn't get passed down. But some of these quarterbacks, when they slide, look so unathletic, and he actually got injured sliding there. Like, these guys have no idea how to slide sometimes. It's weird.
216-474-0092. No, well, how did you feel when he went down?
I thought he was done. I thought it was like an Achilles.
God. I thought he broke his ankle.
You thought it was ankle?
I thought he went over the top of his ankle, and it was over. The way he sat there, because they went back to the replay, so you didn't see that he was standing up, and they were walking him off.
Can you just
wait, real quick. I got one thing. I know Dylan Gabriel got booed when he came in, or we at least I thought it was that. There was some discrepancy there about what was on the Jumbotron. So Dylan Gabriel is facing the huddle, and he's got the next play ready, and he is ready to go back to the huddle, and he never sees Shedeur come back out.
Yeah.
It was behind him. How do you think he felt in that moment?
Don't care.
That had to be awful.
Will his check clear at the end of this week?
Yeah, but he's not playing. He's not starting.
I felt bad. I didn't like that he got booed. I felt bad about that to certain levels, but they paid their money.
What did Dylan Gabriel ever do to these people? Like, at least like Deshaun Watson, when he got cheered by some people for the injury.
Okay.
Like, there was a lot there. There's a lot of baggage.
Well,
there was the guarantee. This is just a draft pick, a third-round pick who has had the same bad wide receivers, bad offensive line play.
I take that back.
Not much of a running game.
You're right. I have some sympathy.
A concussion.
Because I think that he's a representation. How many people are big fans of the coaching right now?
None.
Okay. I think they feel he's an embodiment, a representation of their theories. And they don't support anything that they think. So when he goes out there, it's, this is your chance to roll him back out there again. They're not going to support that. It's unfair. You're right. So then in that sense, I feel bad. So I don't like that. But no, I need Shedeur Sanders for the next 5 games. I want to avoid the boogeyman. And I also want somebody who I think that has any sort of an attempt at a future. Because that's why I wanted Shedeur from the get-go. I want to see a guy who has a higher ceiling. His floor may be lower, but so far I'm not seeing it. I don't think that he's played as badly as Dylan Gabriel played. Did he have a game? Has he had a game as good as the Minnesota game? Not a real high bar, got to tell you. I think probably the Vegas game. I think a lot of people go, yeah, that was as good as the Vikings game. Okay, but has he had a game as bad as what Dylan Gabriel has had? No. Now he's only had a couple. But he hasn't had a game as bad as what Dylan Gabriel's had. So, yeah, I want to see more Shedeur Sanders. I want to see Shedeur for the rest of the year, and I hope that he has a chance to change my mind. I don't think there's going to be that chance to change my mind. I think we're going to have a lot more shows like this. I think we're going to have a lot more shows where special teams will fail, offensive line will fail. We'll be very, very mad at the coaching. We'll be very, very mad at certain situations. We'll call each other nasty things. We'll come up with different theories to make ourselves feel somewhat better about the situation that we're in, when really it's just a shared experience of misery. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. A little too early for this bad weather. A little too early. I felt very January on my way in today.
Yeah, you know what?
Very January. I'm like, man, Christmas time. December's supposed to be the good time. January's supposed to be depressing.
There's still leaves.
Man,
There's still leaves that are on some trees.
I was like, this feels very January 3rd right now. This is not fun.
And some of our neighbors, get them cleaned up. I did my job. Now I got to do it again.
That they are always on the go. They travel.
The snow comes in.
You need to get one of them.
And then the leaves get
one of them temporary orange fences. I'm going to tell you about one of them temporary. My dad did that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I've seen a few of those in the hood.
Ken Sr., a spiteful old man. I'll show you how it's done. Hey.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Loser town, loser fans, and you guys are a loser show.
This is Boomer and Science with an Odyssey Sports Minute.